A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, the time is the late 1960s. The place, Washington, D.C. The story, Honeymoon in Hell.
My name is Carmody. I'm a Grade 1 cybernetics man at Western Alliance headquarters in the Pentagon. Used to be a rocket pilot, but they retired me at 27 after I made the third successful flight to the moon. As a Grade 1 cybernetics operator, I get to work with Junior. Let me tell you about Junior. He was built in 1962, and he's the world's finest electronic brain, with the possible exception of Ivan, the Eastern Alliance brain, which was built on stolen plans and modeled after Junior. There are only 4 men in the country permitted in the same room with Junior because the data we feed him is so secret. One of those 4 is the president of the Western Alliance. The other 3 are myself, Charlie Mazer, and the chief.
Ray?
Oh, yes, Chief.
Have you got Junior running a problem?
Well, I just fed him the hourly data for probability of H-bomb war with the Eastern Alliance. He's ready. Hold it.
According to the data just received, the probability of a hot war between the Western and the Eastern Alliance is 99.930 in favor of such a war breaking out within the next month.
Oh, it doesn't sound good, Chief.
Yeah. Well, I'll scramble the data, send it to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Meanwhile, here's a Priority C civilian problem to run off.
Oh, what's this stuff?
Well, it seems on September 17th, a statistician in the Birth Record Department of New York City noticed that out of 813 births reported that day, 657 had been girls, and only 156 had been boys.
Oh, that sounds impossible.
Well, that's what this statistician thought. So they phoned some other cities, and the same trend is being shown, not only in other American cities, but in Western Europe.
Sunspots, maybe?
That's for Junior to figure out. He's the brain here.
Okay, I'll feed him.
Give me the results on the intercom. I'll be in my office.
Right. I didn't really pay much attention to the problem at the time. As a Grade 1 operative, I was more interested in asking Junior questions on security, ballistics, missiles, rocketry, and so on. The Eastern Alliance would undoubtedly have traded 3 puppet governments and the tomb of Lenin to have an agent as a Grade 1 operative. But I took the birth statistics and fed them in and waited. Junior, incidentally, responds to vocal stimuli. Speaks 12 languages. Got the answer, Junior?
I have.
Okay.
The present statistics, if the trend is projected for another day, indicate a definite, dangerous imbalance. If the trend is irreversible, unless new methods of reproduction are developed, the population of the United States and Western Europe will die out in 1 1/2 generations.
Well, it wasn't long before the newspapers got the story and kicked it around. People in governments really started to worry now. Biologists and laboratories made it their number 1 project. On September 29th, only 41 boys were born in the entire United States. During the month of October, in spite of all the work going on, not a single male child was born anywhere in the world, with the exception of one in outer Mongolia and one in Alaska. November drew another blank. I was working 18 hours a day, feeding every available scrap of data to Junior.
Data insufficient for answer to your question.
Well, here's the latest. A new analysis of chromosome structure indicates the presence of an additional electron in the orbit of the Y atoms for carbon chain X. Now try again. The question is, what is causing the lack of male birth?
Anything new, Ray?
No, not yet. Hold it.
Data insufficient.
Well, that's it. We've fed Junior every scrap of information that every physicist, geneticist, chemist, and biologist in this half of the world knows, and all he does is say data insufficient.
Yeah, well, the operator who had him last night didn't do any better.
Any more information on the Eastern Alliance? Have they made any progress?
No, but at least the talk of a hot war is dying down.
Well, they're still working on a space station, aren't they?
Oh, yes, we're both going ahead with that. But, well, this seems to be a common problem now. You know, in spite of hydrogen bombs and ICBMs, people don't really expect the whole race to die out from a war. But the complete lack of male children, now that's something that every family can understand.
Has anybody thought of the possibility of some kind of radiation from outer space that's damaging the chromosomes, something our instruments can't detect?
Everybody's thought of it. Nobody's proved anything. Well, keep trying, Junior. Maybe he'll come up with something.
Okay. Junior, I'm ashamed of you. Answer me.
Information recorded.
Look, you're a whiz on rocket fuels and space orbits, but when it comes to women, you're a total bust, just like me. I don't understand them and never will.
Information recorded.
Now, you've convinced us that if we use the H-bombs in total war, both sides will lose, and we know that your counterpart in Moscow University has given the same information to the Eastern Alliance. That you can figure out. But women, you can't have genetics without women, right?
No.
Well, you know that much. What about that blonde at the party last night, huh? What about her?
The question is inadequately worded. Please clarify.
Did I see her again?
No.
What? You haven't even got any data on her. Why shouldn't I see her again? Answer, please.
Because tomorrow you are going to be married.
Well, I almost jumped out of my chair. Junior had gone stark raving mad. Besides, Junior never made predictions unless he had some definite data. There wasn't a woman on Earth I had the slightest interest in marrying. I was a confirmed bachelor. So, unless somebody else had been feeding phony data into Junior, which was almost impossible since he already had enough data to check any flaw, well, I figured he'd blown a transistor. Come in. Oh, Chief, I was just going to tell you... Oh.
Ray Carmody, this is the President of the Western Alliance. Captain Carmody, Mr. President.
Glad to meet you, Captain.
Oh, I'm very honored, sir.
The President came here specifically to talk to you, Ray.
To me?
Captain Carmody, you have been chosen to have the opportunity to volunteer for a mission of extreme importance. Now, there's much danger, but not as much as on your previous trip to the moon.
Previous trip, sir? And this involves another?
The flight to the moon, Captain, will be the least important part of your mission. What's at stake here is the survival of the human race. Chief, perhaps you'd better explain the rest.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know the problem, Ray. Last night when Mitchell was on, we fed Junior some new data, and we asked some new questions. For example, we asked if the lack of male birth could be due to some extraterrestrial enemies of man.
Well, Martians?
Possibly. We established that it's possible that Martians have landed somewhere on Earth and set up radiation that causes all children to be females.
Junior said it was possible?
Definitely. So we asked him the next question. How could we correct such a situation?
Mm-hmm. What did he say?
Junior suggested that a married couple spend a honeymoon on the moon and see if circumstances are different.
Oh, I see. You want me to pilot them there?
Well, not exactly, Captain.
Oh, good grief. You mean you want me to... Well, Junior wasn't crazy after all.
You asked Junior?
He said I was getting married, but... Well, how do you know it was me they'd pick?
He was asked the qualifications for the bridegroom. He recommended a rocket pilot who had already made the trip successfully.
Well, there are 4 other pilots who've made that trip.
You're the only single one. And since the woman must be a qualified pilot also, and none of the wives are pilots, well...
I assume I'm going to be married before we leave.
Well, naturally.
Oh. And just how long do we stay on the moon?
Until a child is conceived.
Brother.
Well, Captain, do you volunteer?
I suppose so. Well, wait a minute. Who's the other pilot? I mean, the girl.
She was flown in by fast rocket an hour ago and is waiting in Chief Reba's office. Now, shall we go?
There were some officials there, and a justice, and my bride. She was small, dark, slender, and very attractive. I was so busy looking at the way she filled out her uniform in just the right places that I almost overlooked the fact that she was dressed like an Eastern Alliance pilot.
Captain Ray Comedy, may I present Lieutenant Anya Borisovna?
You mean this is... an enemy pilot?
Pleased to meet you, Captain.
Yes, I'm pleased to meet you. Mr. President,
Captain, this marriage is being done on an international basis for important diplomatic reasons. Both alliances have been advised by their cybernetic machine that the experiment, if it is to benefit humanity, must bring all the major powers together. Miss Borisovna is 24, an experienced rocket pilot like yourself, and quite attractive, if I do say so myself.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, if you're both ready, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court will perform the ceremony.
Well, there's just one thing, Mr. President. Miss Borisovna, would you marry me?
Yes. And you may call me Anya.
Okay. Mr. President, we're ready. I didn't even get a chance to kiss the bride. We were rushed over to the labs for a pre-flight physical. Then the chief took me aside for a private pre-flight briefing.
Congratulations, Ray. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now, 0 hours at 10 o'clock.
Only half an hour?
We've known about this for several weeks now, Ray. Ship is ready. We've already fired 11 supply rockets and observed that they landed on the moon near where you're supposed to put down. One of them contains a heat-proof, airtight, collapsible shelter where you live.
Uh-huh. Oh, what's the ship like?
R-26, much better than the R-24 that you flew there. Last time, Ray, you took 4.5 Gs for 7 minutes. This time you'll get by with 3 Gs and have 12 minutes to accelerate to Brenchless. Now, you'll have enough fuel for the trip there. One of the supply rockets has your return fuel. Oh, yes. We put in a case of scotch and a case of vodka, just as an icebreaker.
Before we go, Chief, what would you have done if I'd turned this job down?
The cybernetics machine predicted that you wouldn't. Besides, we could have had 100 volunteers an hour after seeing Anya Borisovna. That gal was moonbait.
Careful. You're speaking of my wife.
Tower to R-26. Are you both strapped in?
Anya, you strapped into the webbing?
Yes.
Okay, Chief.
The time is X-15. I have a message from the President. Quote, "The people of the world are watching. Don't fail them. I have messages from the Soviets, the Chinese, the British, the Indians, all wishing you well. You are the hope of mankind, and all mankind unites as it has never before united in giving you its blessings. We await your return anxiously." Unquote. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1. Blast off.
The sound that was beyond all sound struck us like a giant muffled hammer. It built up until we weighed 480 pounds, pressed flat against the webbing. Sound and pressure went on and on interminably. Then we reached Brenchless, free of the pull of Earth. I blacked out. When I came to, a lovely face was bent over mine, 2 dark eyes smiling at me.
Are you all right, Ray?
Oh, yeah. Are we weightless?
Yes. I shut off the fuel. We won't need it until we land.
Oh, thanks.
If you would teach me, I could help you land the ship. Oh, I've never been to the moon.
Well, sure. Just slide over here to the control panel.
All right. Like this?
Oh, that's fine. We've got about 4 hours Earth time to get acquainted.
Have you known many women?
A few. Have you had any boyfriends?
1 or 2.
Well, I was never really serious about anybody.
Oh.
You have a family?
Yes. In Magnitogorsk.
Oh. I'm from Brooklyn.
How long have you been a rocket pilot?
Oh, since I was 18. I'm 27.
I'm 24. I learned rockets when I was 18 also.
Oh. Well, we better concentrate on the ship just now. Later on, we can talk about ourselves more. Meanwhile, though, I hope you're not sorry. I mean, about this business. I guess it isn't very romantic.
I'm not sorry.
We made a good landing. It didn't knock either of us unconscious. Then we got into our spacesuits and got out of the rocket. Some of the supply rockets were lying within a quarter mile. There were 6 eastern rockets and 3 westerns. About 800 yards away, though, there was a big supply rocket we couldn't identify. It looked different from the others, and neither of us could identify it as an eastern or western design we were familiar with. I pointed to it, and we headed there. You recognize that supply rocket?
No, I was not briefed on anybody standing still in the shade.
Well, it must be something the chiefs of staff sent up as a surprise for us. I figured about 50 feet long, but you can't see the rocket tubes.
It might be a payload from a stepped rocket assembly.
Uh-huh. Well, there's a door on the side, anyway, you see? The top of that ramp.
Oh, yes. Maybe we ought to observe it a while before we go in.
Oh, nonsense. Come on.
Ray!
Yes?
Ray, I'm frightened. There's something wrong with this.
Only one way to find out, Anya. Let's go. Well, there's some kind of lock on this door. Let's see if it opens. Well, that was easy.
It's lighted inside.
Come on. Maybe they sent us a surprise cottage for the honeymoon. Special delivery to the moon.
This doesn't look like anything designed for humans to live in. Ray! The door's closed behind us.
Try the lock.
No, it's no use.
Here, let me try. Ooh, holy smoke, I can't get it open. Do you have a gun?
No, I have no weapons.
They would be useless anyway.
Oh, look.
Good grief. They look like blobs of flesh with arms and legs.
About 3 feet tall.
Don't make any sudden moves. That's some kind of weapon he's carrying.
Precisely, Captain Carmody.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
My people and I are inhabitants of another galaxy.
Extraterrestrial?
Precisely. As for how we know your name and your language, we have been studying you since you first achieved space travel. We have intercepted your radio communications, for example.
Have you been responsible for the lack of male birth?
We have been beaming an ultrasonic wave toward your planet.
What are you planning to do?
For the moment, we will keep you aboard our ship and study you. You may remove your helmets, incidentally. We have provided an oxygen atmosphere.
Can we risk it?
Well, if he wants to kill us, there are easier ways. Here, help me get it off. Well, it breathes pretty good. Keep your helmet with you.
You may make yourselves comfortable. We will bring you food and liquid from your supply rockets. Do not attempt to escape, please. It could be most unpleasant.
The next few days were like a nightmare. The blobs left us to ourselves except to feed us. Of course, it had its funny side, too. The creatures knew we needed liquid, but they couldn't distinguish between water and whiskey. For the first 2 days, we had nothing but whiskey to drink. For obvious reasons, I don't remember much about it, but we did begin to sing to each other. We also got to know and like each other. I got to learn some Eastern songs. On the 3rd day, the jugs were water jugs, and we sobered up. Oh, What a hangover.
You were singing magnificently.
Oh, well, you weren't so bad yourself. How long was I asleep?
About 8 hours. Ray, while you were passed out, I discovered how we can escape.
What?
I've been studying the blobs. They seem to have a 5-hour sleep period when there is no sound in a ship. I've tried banging on the walls with my helmet during that period, but apparently they're almost completely unconscious during ours.
Mm-hmm. 5 hours sleep. That means a planet with approximately a 20-hour rotation. The Joint Chiefs will want to know that if we get back.
And more important, we're much stronger physically than they are. I can actually bend the metal of the door lock.
Well, now, what are we waiting for? Let's put on our helmets and get out of here. Are they in the sleep period?
Yes, for about 3 hours. Ray, do you think we can risk it?
We don't have much choice. I'll go ahead. If we get out of this ship, you run for our rocket and start to refuel. I'll keep an eye on the blobs.
All right. But Ray, please be careful.
Don't worry. Before you put on your space helmet...
Yes?
You realize I've never even kissed the bride?
Yes. Oh, Ray.
Good luck, Mrs. Carmody. By the time I reached the ship, Anya had the rockets refueled. I jacked up the tail fins and we headed for space. When I checked our screen to see if the blobs were after us, we detected their ship heading toward the outer galaxies away from Earth. The rest was easy. In less than 24 hours, I was in the office of the President of the Western Alliance making a full report. The Eastern Ambassador was there, along with the Chief.
Captain, this story is incredible.
Well, I'll be glad to submit to a lie detector, Mr. President.
There's one on its way.
Our embassy is questioning Miss Borisovna right now to see if her story is similar.
Are you positive they were extraterrestrials? I mean, couldn't they have been, Easterners?
If Easterners are 3 feet tall, without bones, and look like little green blobs of protoplasm.
Yes. It's for you, Ambassador Corbett.
Thank you. Yes. 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 Our woman tells the same story under scopolamine. It must be the truth.
Obviously, they went back for reinforcements or further orders. If and when they get back, we've got to be ready for them.
My government stands ready to cooperate fully.
Excellent. We'll have to build a joint space station, get to the moon, and fortify it jointly. If we pool all scientific knowledge, military data, we may be able to do it.
Our propaganda ministry has already received orders to put everything into reverse gear.
Carmody, I don't know how the world can ever thank you and Miss Borisovna. You not only averted a suicidal war between the East and West, you've also managed to draw us together in a joint effort where international power politics must be a thing of the past.
Well, sir, I have a request to make.
Anything, my boy. By the way, your wife is on her way over.
I'd like to get back to Junior to ask him a personal question before I see her again, if you don't mind.
Well, it's rather odd, but I suppose if it's what you wish. Chief, would you let Captain Carmody operate the cybernetics machine alone for a few moments?
Right this way, Ray, boy.
I waited until I was alone with the big cybernetics machine. One green dial glowed malevolently as if the instrument was aware of my presence. I opened the input channel and spoke. Hello, Junior. This is your old friend Ray. Give an appropriate answer.
Hello, Ray.
Now then, you remember Miss Borisovna, the girl who was selected for me to marry. Item 1, she's going to rejoin me in a short while. Item 2, I've fallen in love with her. Item 3, before we actually live together as man and wife, I want to know something. Question. Does she love me?
Yes.
Oh, that's my boy. Now then, just one more item before I say so long and take a honeymoon. Tell me, Junior, why do I have a hunch that those blobs from outer space will never be back? Answer, please.
Because what you call a hunch comes from your own unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind knows that the extraterrestrials do not, and never did, exist.
What?
Do you wish the answer repeated?
I wish you to tell me why I saw them, why Anya saw them.
Neither of you saw them.
Amplify that answer, Junior, or I'll smash every tube in your memory bank.
Since I am an AC-7 cybernetics machine, I have no circuit reactor for threats of destruction of my tubes. The answer to your question is as follows. The memory of extraterrestrials is due to post-hypnotic suggestion.
You mean I was hypnotized to find those blobs on the moon?
Correct.
And just who hypnotized me?
I did. I hypnotized you.
Oh. And Anya?
A similar AC-7 cybernetics machine located at the University of Moscow.
Would you explain why?
Cybernetics machines are constructed to help humanity. A major war, the disastrous results of which I could accurately calculate, was inevitable unless forestalled. Calculations showed that the best way to avert that war was the creation of a common mythical enemy. Therefore, I created a situation which led to your mission to the moon.
Well, wait a minute. You created the situation.
Yes.
Well, tell me how you did it. How did you prevent male babies from being conceived?
A special modification of radio carrier wave for station JVT here in Washington, D.C., the only 24-hour-a-day radio station in the United States. The modification is not detectable by any instrument known to man at present.
Well, how could you do that? You can't leave here.
1 year ago, you yourself fed me a problem. The design of a new cathode tube for radio station JVT. I modified the tube to send out a wave that would prevent male children from being conceived.
So all we have to do is eliminate that tube.
It will not be necessary. The tube was designed to burn out exactly 15 minutes ago.
And the same thing happened in the Eastern Alliance?
Precisely. 2 properly constructed machines will always arrive at the same answer to the same problem.
Oh, Junior, I gotta hand it to you. But why let me in on it?
It is to the interests of humanity to know the truth. It is to your own interests. And you will tell no one because of the type of individual you are. Mankind will work together now to reach the stars.
One last question, Junior. If Anya and I were just hypnotized to think all of that was happening up on the moon, what really did happen up there? I waited a while, but Junior was silent. It's the first time he ever pulled anything like that. However, I'll swear that I saw that green eye of his wink at me.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Butterfly 9 by Donald Keith, the story of Jeff, who needed a job, and a man with a job to offer, one where giant economy-sized trouble had labels like fake make, bumsy, and peakage. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Honeymoon in Hell, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Frederick Brown and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were William Redfield, Vilma Currer, Wendell Holmes, Charles Penman, Leon Janney, Roger de Koven, and Jack Grimes. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
To keep the fight against heart disease moving steadily forward, you're urged to support your Heart Fund. Send a generous contribution to your local Heart Association or to Heart, care of your local post office. When you help your Heart Fund, you help your heart. Hear the latest up to the second news with Frank Blair, weekday mornings on most of these stations.
In the dark, mysterious South Pacific Ocean, a magnificent yacht is carrying its passengers and crew on a strange cruise. Jerry Hall has joined Mrs. Gregory and Captain Bradford on the Gregory yacht to aid in the search for Mrs. Gregory's little girl. Lost at sea when a baby, the girl has been reported living on a mysterious island The yacht was anchored off a bank of what appeared to be fog, but was not natural fog. With the aid of apparatus designed by Captain Bradford, Jerry and his friends have looked over the fog and down onto the island. It is now after dark. The yacht is being drawn through the weird ring of fog, drawn without a sound toward the magic island.
But Jerry, how could we be pulled to the island by the same magnetic force that was pushing it away from it an hour ago?
Well, you see, Mrs. Gregory, magnetism works both ways. Maybe I can't explain it right, but anyhow, a magnet can either be fixed to attract or repel. Is that what I'm trying to say, Captain Bradford?
Well, at least you're heading in the right direction, Jerry. It's a poor electrical engineer that can't do tricks with an electromagnet and plenty of power.
Electrical engineer? I thought we'd find a tribe of savages on this island, if we found anything.
Yeah, that's what I figured, too. That old sailor, you know, who lived on this island or visited or something, and then got away, he reported that he'd seen a little white girl living here with a strange race of savage people.
Well, I'm not so sure of that, son. Remember, we got the story over our shortwave in Los Angeles. At the same time, you got it over yours. And if I remember rightly, the report said a strange race of people, not a savage race.
Tex is right, Jerry. It did say a strange race. Of course, we naturally thought of savages as the only sort of people who might be living unknown to the rest of the world.
Well, we know now that the people who made all these scientific things we're running into are not savages. It looks to me like they know a whole lot of things we don't.
No doubt about it. And while we just stand and talk on this deck, a heavy yacht with 800 horsepower motors is drifting helplessly into something we know nothing about.
Well, let's quit talking and do something. We're drifting into that island pretty fast now.
We're inside the fog ring now. Oh, if only it wasn't dark.
We'll hit the island pretty soon. But, well, we're going slow. I guess it won't hurt the boat.
There's not a sound from anything.
Can't even hear a ripple of water. This water is oiled or treated with something to hold it still on the surface.
I can see a little light ahead. There's a yellow glow all over in front of us.
Nothing we can see distinctly, though. We're slowing up. The boat is barely moving.
Look, Tex. Can you see an outline there?
Where? No.
Where, Mrs. Gregory?
Just off the port beam, Jerry.
No. I don't see anything.
I do now. You're right, Pat. Look over here, kid. There's an arm jutting out right alongside the rail.
Golly of whiskers. It looks like a dock. We're drifting right up to it.
Not drifting. Don't forget, son. We're being pulled.
That light ahead is getting more distinct. I can make out the shoreline now.
Funny shoreline. It looks so straight and smooth. See? See, it's shining in that yellow glow.
Hold it. Quiet, both of you. Not a sound.
We're rubbing against a dock, or a pier, or a landing of some kind.
I thought so. And the boat has nearly stopped.
It has stopped. We're not making any headway.
But the stern is swinging in near that landing. Gee, the boat acts as if it had a shoreline, and we're being snubbed in.
We are being snubbed in, and without a line. This yacht is being warped against that dock by the same force that pulled us through the fog bank and into this shelter.
But why don't we see somebody or something?
Or hear something. Gosh, any kind of a noise would sound good right now. Hey, we stop. We're hard against the thing on the port beam.
Yes, we're here. And I'm afraid, Jerry, my boy, that we're actually on your magic island. Whether we want to be or not.
Want to be? Why, Tex, we've come thousands of miles to find this place. And my little girl.
Do you think we'll really find Joan here, Captain? Like the old sailor said?
We're liable to find most anything here.
Then let's start looking for it.
You better go into your cabin, Pat. And stay there while Jerry and I have the first look around.
I should say not. Wherever you two go, I'm going.
Where are we going, Tex?
We're going to step out on that dock, or ramp, or whatever it is, and see what happens.
Oh, boy. Let's go.
Steady, son. You go back and tell the skipper to stand by. Tell him he can quit worrying about his anchors. We're fastened to this island until someone else wants us to go.
Yes, sir.
And Jerry, tell the skipper to look sharp and give us a signal if anybody boards him.
I'll be right back, sir.
Oh, Tex, what do you think we'll find here? What's going to happen? What manner of people live here?
Hold on now, Pat. You know as much about all that as I do. We'll just have to ease ashore and keep snooping around until we find something.
Or something finds us.
You better stay aboard, Pat.
I'm not afraid. That is, Of course I'm afraid. Horribly afraid. But you're all here because of me. It's my little girl we're looking for. And I'll go wherever you go.
All right. You're the boss of this expedition.
Everything's shipshape aboard. I gave your orders to the skipper, Tex.
Any comments from him?
Well, he looked plenty worried. And he didn't even say as much as he usually does.
That would be only one word at a time.
This time he just nodded his head.
All right, now here's our situation as I see it. There's no use making any plans as to what we intend to do, because we haven't the faintest idea what conditions we'll find when we get ashore. Now, we'll just step over on that landing there, keep close together, and walk toward that yellow glow of light.
Whatever you say, Tex.
Aye, aye, sir.
All right, now. Over the side. I'll go first. All right, Jerry, come over. Now, Pat, give me your hand. Now, all stand still for a second. Try to get your eyes accustomed to this yellow light. What there is of it.
I can't see any better now than I could when we first saw that yellow light.
Neither can I. And yet, I can. There's something weird about that light.
I have an idea there'll be something weird about everything we see for some time to come. Now, Jerry, you walk on my right here. Pat, you on my left. Both of you stay close enough that we can rub elbows as we walk. And stay close. Now, let's start slowly and carefully toward that yellow glow. Neither of you speak until I tell you to. Ready?
I am.
Yes, Tex.
Not a sound. Here we go. And walk quietly. Stop.
What is it?
Did you see something?
No, and I didn't hear anything. That's what's wrong.
Well, what did you expect to hear?
Our footsteps. I felt this landing with my hands when we came off the yacht. And if I ever felt any before, it's made of concrete. But here are three of us, walking at a fair pace. I have on heavy boots with leather heels, and yet we didn't make a sound.
Oh, that's right.
Well, wait till I feel this stuff with my hands. You're right, Tex. That's concrete, all right. But when I felt it, I slapped it good and hard. It made almost no sound. Gee, do you think...
I think we've stumbled onto the greatest scientific miracle of our time. And there's no use in our trying to walk quietly or make any secret of our movements.
You mean we're being watched now? In the dark?
No. The captain means we're being watched by somebody who can see through this yellow haze, just as easy as we could see in broad daylight.
No doubt about that, son. This island, if it is an island, is years ahead of anything we have ever known. And it has people on it that know things we never dreamed of.
Could this all be artificial? The island, the fog, this light?
Yes, it could be. And it is. For the simple reason that it couldn't possibly be natural.
Golly whiskers. Well, what can we do?
We can only do one thing, Jerry. Keep walking toward the center of that yellow light.
Come on, men. I'm nervous and anxious to get it over with.
I can't even see as well as I could. Say, wait a minute. That's funny.
What's up, Jerry?
That yellow light. Look, behind us.
What? Why, the light has moved. The center of it is behind us now.
Yes, and if you look to the right or left, you'll see the center of it there, too.
But the center of it couldn't be all around us.
It has no center. That yellow glow is perfectly diffused all over this area.
Then maybe we're not walking toward the light at all.
We're just walking through it. What if we walk off the edge of something here?
Here, you get in the middle, Pat. No, I'll stay in the middle. You two are much lighter than I am. And if one of you slips off of something, the other two of us can pull you back onto this stuff we're walking on.
Wouldn't you think we'd hear something soon?
Yes, or see somebody.
This has got me breaking out with ice water freckles. Maybe we'd better stop and think it over again.
Getting scared, Jerry?
You bet I'm scared.
So am I, Jerry, but we may as well go on until... Oh.
What is it?
Which one of you gave me these?
Huh? Gave you what?
I gave you nothing. What are you... Huh? Well, why hand them to me?
What are you two talking about?
Pat just handed them to me.
I did not. I still have the ones you gave me.
Hey, now I've got them. Where did they come from?
Pat, Jerry, steady now, both of you. Just answer my questions one at a time.
Okay.
Yes, Tex.
Jerry, have you got a pair of glasses in your hands?
Yeah, sure. Mrs. Gregory just handed them to me.
Jerry, you handed them to me.
Quiet. One at a time, I said. Have you also got a pair of glasses in your hands now, Pat?
Yes, I have. But I...
Yes, and I've got a pair.
But where does...
Tex, what is this?
Quiet, I said. They mean our lives. Quiet while I talk. Someone or something we couldn't hear, see, or feel has just handed each of us a pair of glasses. There must be a reason for that.
Well, I don't want to find out what it is.
Oh, Tex, what have we gotten into?
You know about as much about it as I do. There's only one thing to do. Each keep your grip on the other one's arm and put your glasses on with one hand.
But what do you suppose the glasses are for?
What any glasses are for, to see through.
But it's nearly dark, worse than dark. What good will glasses do?
Someone handed us those glasses. Someone who made no sound. And they weren't fumbling around in the dark because they didn't touch us at all. Therefore, whoever it was must have been able to see, and see perfectly. I think the time has come when we'll be allowed to see our surroundings.
I'm putting mine on.
Me too. But I'm shaking so I can't find my face. Oh, there now.
Now, just stand still and... Well, it's getting lighter.
No, it isn't. It's the glasses.
I'm beginning to see.
Take it as calm as you can. No matter what you see, it won't help any to crack up about it.
Tex, look. Right beside me.
They're almost on top of us.
Look, there. Over there. Oh.
It's a long way from the coast of California to the South Seas, but many ocean liners travel that route with no more excitement than a trolley car ride. And almost directly in the path of these steamers lies a strange, hidden island, the magic island of the South Seas. The Gregory yacht has sailed to this island in search of Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter. Now the yacht is held fast to the island by a powerful magnetic force. Jerry, Captain Bradford, and Mrs. Gregory leave the yacht. They stumble blindly through the weird yellow half-light that covers everything. Suddenly, some unseen person or phantom thing thrusts a pair of glasses into the hands of each.
Oh, Tex. Jerry, look.
They're all around us.
And we haven't heard the slightest sound.
I felt better when I couldn't see them.
Speak to them, Tex. Say something to them. They aren't making any move to harm us.
I'll go near them. You and Jerry stay. Well, I can't move.
I'm scared, too. But I can move anyway. I'll show you and... Gee, I can't even move my arms.
It's almost as if we were rooted to this spot.
Gosh, why don't they move or say something?
Speak to them, Tex. Get them to move. This will drive us mad.
Steady, Patricia. These men are not savages. They're strangely dressed, but they look civilized and intelligent.
But why can't we move?
I know why, but I don't know how it's being done. I've a gun in my pocket. I can feel it being drawn downward.
Sure, that's it. Magnetism again. That's why my flashlight feels like it weighs a ton in my pocket.
Oh, my head. Something's pulling at my hair. Oh, of course, the metal hairpin. What's holding our hands and feet so still?
I think we'll find out a lot in a minute. One of those men are coming towards us now.
Yeah. His legs are moving all right. He's walking pretty fast. Say, why doesn't he get any closer to us?
Oh, the shallow light is deceptive. Probably an illusion deliberately created to throw our sense of perspective out of balance. I'll bet they don't speak English. Let me do the talking if we get a chance to do anything. Hello there. How do you do?
I guess I don't speak anything.
We'll soon find out. Well, if I could move my arms, I could shake hands with this gentleman.
I think that will not be necessary. In fact, it would not be advisable.
Golly whiskers, he can talk.
It's a relief to hear English spoken in this strange place.
This strange place? Madame is mistaken. This is a perfectly natural place. You three are the strange elements here.
Well, I guess you're right at that. We seem to have intruded upon something that's a little bit beyond our depth. What's it all about, Professor?
Oh, do not apply to me the title you confer upon your petty educators in what you so grandly choose to call your world. World, indeed. Why, you poor innocents cannot even dream of the world as it is given to us to know it. Now, I will introduce myself. I am called G47.
Gee whiz.
No, G47.
Is this real, Tex?
It is, but no one back home will believe us.
May I ask a question of you, G47?
At least, Madame Gregory, you...
He knows me.
Silence, Madame, or I shall think you as rude as your strange companions.
I'm sorry, but I was so surprised that you should know me.
I think we're going to be more surprised if we can find something this guy don't know.
You are a very observant person for one so young.
Well, before we go on with this display of our ignorance and your confounded superiority, you might at least call off your magnetic force. It'd be more comfortable if we could walk around a little.
I am disappointed in you, Captain Bradford.
Oh, you win, G47. Suppose we could have moved long ago if we'd had sense enough to try it.
You were released the moment I spoke to you. Now, if you are through gaping and wondering, I will be glad to answer Madame Gregory's question. The object of your search is here.
Then the old sailor's story was true. There is a little white girl living here.
Gee, and can we see her right away?
Yes, let's get it over with, or do we just stand here all night?
Your rudeness will be overlooked this time, Captain Bradford. You will follow me. Come.
Well, I guess nobody who saw this would ever make fun of my magic island again.
You will see no magic here. This is a land of fact. Cold, hard, scientific fact.
What you say is obviously true, but we've been accustomed to getting our facts in a little less spectacular manner. Everything here is real enough, but it's all so strange to us.
Notice how all these other men merely stand aside and let us pass. They don't look curious, happy, angry. They just don't look anything.
Guess they don't think we rate getting excited about.
On the contrary, you are rather interesting subjects. It will be a pleasure to study you at greater length when time permits.
Well, it isn't the most comfortable feeling in the world to be spoken of as a subject for study, as if we were bugs on a microscopic slide.
But remember, Pat, as long as we're being studied, we'll be alive, and while
you're alive, there is always the possibility of your escape, eh?
That can wait. Please, G47, may we see the little girl?
We are nearly to the ladies' quarters now.
I imagine the ladies of your colony are kept rather well protected in the event your island might be surprised and perhaps captured, eh, G47?
Do not be unnecessarily stupid. We fear nothing.
I've got an idea he means that.
May we inquire where the ladies of your colony may be found? I see none of them.
This is the 602nd period, when the ladies are engaged in caring for their living quarters, making their dresses for tomorrow.
You mean 600 seconds as we figure time in our world?
Precisely.
But, golly whiskers, 600 seconds. That's only 10 minutes. You mean the ladies make their own dresses in 10 minutes?
And attend to caring for their living quarters in the same time? 5 minutes to make a dress,
It
Pat.
is a waste of valuable time, I admit. But we haven't been able to solve the problem of making a satisfactory garment in less than 300 seconds.
Good heavens, 5 minutes to make a dress, and the man calls it a waste of time.
I said 300 seconds, not 5 minutes. We have no time to deal in minutes here. Time is too precious. We measure it in seconds.
I'll bet these guys could put up the Empire State Building in their lunch hour. Boy, oh boy.
And the ladies make a new dress for every day?
Precisely. You will see all that being done and more before you leave the Isle of Euclidia.
Oh, so that's it, Euclidia. You named your scientific island for Euclid, the father of geometry.
You are learning, Captain Bradford. I am called G47, as the highest authority in Euclidia on the subject of mathematics. G for geometry, 47 for the squaring of the circle, the 47th problem of Euclid.
G47. And do all the other men on the island have names like yours?
No, they are all different from mine.
I mean, are they, do they mean something like yours does?
Everything on this island means something. The names are similar to mine. But enough with this childish prattle. Directly before you, you will notice a small, gleaming copper door. You are expected. Enter. I will return for you when the time limit of your visit is reached.
Well, if we ever wake up at all, this is going to be a dream hard to forget.
This is no dream. It's the real thing. A magic island.
Oh, I'm so nervous. Do you think we'll really see my little girl after all this? Will she prove to be my little girl? My little daughter, Joan?
Well, let's knock on this door and find out. Gee, the door opened without a sound before I touched it.
Are we supposed to walk right in?
You may enter.
Did you hear that?
A young girl's voice. Let's go in. What a small room. Oh, are you... How do you do?
Will you not sit down? Allow me, Mrs. Gregory. You there, Captain Bradford, and you here, Gerald.
Huh. Gerald. Huh.
Oh, Tex,
Steady, Patricia. Now take it as calmly as you can. Jerry and I will just sit quietly in the background, as far back as we can go back in this little cubbyhole. You go ahead and talk to her. Find out if... Good luck, dear.
Do you mind if I question you?
Not at all. We of Euclidia encourage conversation when the subject is of value and takes little time. Remember, we are allowed but 120 seconds for this visit.
Gee, Tex, who ever heard of a 15-year-old girl talking like that?
Hush, Jerry. Let's don't use up any of Mrs. Gregory's 120 seconds.
Your name... What are you called, my dear?
I am called Cleostra. Each one on Euclidia has a namesake in science. Cleostratus was an astronomer of ancient Greece who arranged the signs of the zodiac. I came to this island on the day the Euclideans changed the calendar from your clumsy one of 12 months of different length to our perfect one of 13 months. Hence, I was called Cleostra in honor of that day.
Golly whiskers. That girl knows more than my school teacher.
Hush, Jerry.
Tell me, my... Cleostra, do you know how you came to this island, to Euclidia?
Why, of course. I was cast upon the island after a shipwreck near here. I was tied to a sinking lifeboat.
Yes, that would be right. The lifeboat was sinking. All the men left it and tried to swim to safety so that you and I would have a better chance to live. I remember tying you to the boat, and then I could remember nothing else.
You remember? You tied me to that boat?
Yes, that's the last thing I remember. That was 14 years ago. You should be 15 now.
The keeper of the records tells me I am just 15. But you spoke of fastening me to the lifeboat. You? Who are you?
I am your mother. I am Mrs. Patricia Gregory.
I know all that. But you are someone else also. There is something... I cannot explain it. My feeling is strange to me. But the Euclideans have kept so much news of the world from me. I suppose we are very happy here, yet I have often wished to know something of the world. Your world. Now you've brought that to me.
Will you turn your head? May I touch you, my child?
Certainly. Oh, you feel so strange. So warm and friendly. Your hands... No one's hands ever felt like that to me before.
I knew your hair would be golden and curly, and I'm afraid to look. It would be a tiny star-shaped scar at the base of your neck. Oh, it's here, Tex. Jerry, the scar. It's Joan, my baby. My little daughter, Joan. My little girl.
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
Hate and love are really quite close to each other. Usually hate stems from a misunderstanding of something which, properly understood, would make love. One of the concepts that many people don't see, miss, just get all wrong, is the fact that there is superiority and there is inferiority. But those things are specialized and narrowed into special areas. If you don't recognize them, the system won't work at all. If you do recognize them, well, you know, each must then recognize two things: that he is superior and that he's inferior. This is a story of a man who hadn't learned, hadn't found out the importance of special superiority and special inferiority.
Phil, are you ready for a drink?
My name is not Philip. My name is Senga.
What?
Nothing.
You'd better drink this.
Thanks.
To our last night on Earth for some time to come. Or better yet, to this house where I was born. To the green mountains and jungles we've loved and hunted in. To all this we leave behind.
I was looking at her.
Yes, she's beautiful. The brightest planet of them all.
She's dark and she's ugly.
Not from this distance.
From here, no. But she's ugly.
The ancients didn't think so when they named her Venus.
They never got there.
No. But you did. You've been there.
So will you. Tomorrow you'll be on your way. We both will.
Sen, you've never talked much about the place.
I told you it's hot. Very hot.
Animals?
A great many. But I saw only a few. You mostly only hear them. Once I wanted to go hunting. Your father said no. He couldn't forget I was Indian.
You and I have hunted here, so don't talk rot.
Your father never approved. All right, he picked me up in the mountains here when I was 4 years old. He brought me to this house. Now I am 32 with 28 years of education and civilization behind me, but I am still Indian. All right, Guido. Tell me I have a complex.
No. But ever since you came back from Venus, you've had a chip on your shoulder. Now, come on, fella. You and I grew up like brothers. There's no difference between us.
Isn't there?
And you're a first-rate space pilot, as good as my father was.
As good as you, too?
Just as good. After all, you brought the ship back to Earth alone. Oh, almost alone, anyway. You had my father's body with you. He was a great man, Sen. The greatest space explorer of this age.
Yes, he was a great man.
At least it was you who shared his last minutes. You he chose to go with him on that trip. He thought quite a lot of you.
It was not a matter of choice that he took me along.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing. I've said more than I intended.
I have a right to know, Phil.
Yes. When we get there, let's call it a night. We blast off at dawn. We need sleep. Green light.
Blast off.
Coffee?
Thanks, I can use a cup.
A 250,000 miles out in space before morning coffee. Not bad, eh?
Phil.
Yes?
But my father was not the first man to land on Venus. But no one else, so far as we know, found diamonds there.
No one else ever went to the right area. Besides, you use the word diamond in the plural sense. The singular would be more correct. The peak of this mountain is one solid diamond, pushed up there from the interior by volcanic action. A slab of diamond that must weigh 7,000 tons.
If it's true, then diamonds back home will become absolutely worthless.
Not immediately. And what happens later will not concern us.
Why didn't you bring back a sample?
There were many reasons. You'll understand when you get there.
There's a lot you haven't told me.
A great deal, yes, but it can wait. Let's play some chess.
Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us, as American citizens, believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom of association, assembly, and action. But if you will read the First Amendment to the Constitution, you will notice that it is worded, Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Whatever the association, assembly, or action, it must be accomplished peaceably. We are given the right to petition, for example, but that right cannot be used to bring malice upon others. We must assume the responsibility for the purposes and actions of associations and assemblies. And if we accept that responsibility, we ensure our freedom.
When a kid grows up, at a certain period of life, he stops being a child, and yet he is not yet a man. He's an adolescent, somewhere in between. This is one of the most critical areas of development. This is where we have our juvenile delinquents starting, becoming what they are. The juvenile delinquent is an adolescent gone wrong and misunderstanding. An adolescent is in the problem of inferiority and superiority. He's inferior to his parents, and it's a general inferiority because the parents have greater experience, greater understanding, greater wisdom, simply by the sheer accumulation of understanding of problems they've had to solve and experience themselves.
We have to walk about a quarter of a mile through the jungle. Then we start to climb. What's the matter?
Maybe hallucination.
You saw something?
No, someone.
Oh?
A man, half naked, a savage. You saw him, too.
Yes, I glimpsed him.
There are people here.
That's right.
You told the newspapers you saw no sign of people.
I didn't feel like telling the newspapers all I saw any more than your father did after his first trip here. Oh, yes, Guido. He knew about these people. He never told anyone.
They're human, like us.
Descendants from a group of people who came here from Earth millions of years ago. People more advanced in science than we are today. Only through the years they lost their knowledge, reverted to the jungle. At least, that was your father's theory.
Are they hostile?
I'm not sure.
They've seen the ship before, of course.
Yes, they've seen it before. They know we come out of space.
It's fantastic. Descendants of Earth people. It's as fantastic as your Diamond Mountain.
The Diamond Mountain is very real. Come. We have a long walk.
How far up are we?
About 1,000 feet above ground level, I'd say.
The air's thin. Shouldn't be this thin at only 1,000 feet.
Nevertheless, it is.
I can hardly breathe.
It won't get much worse. Stick it out.
We should have brought oxygen masks.
It's too hot. It'd be impractical.
That's right. Maybe it's the heat, not so much the thin air. I feel as though I'm being scorched up.
Save your breath. Come on.
All right.
Come on.
Oh, we still got to climb. That's right. I feel like I can't go much further.
Try.
I can't. Oh. Sorry, Phil.
You did better than I thought, as a matter of fact. Much better than your father.
What?
He collapsed about 100 yards further back, but of course he was much older. Don't look so shocked.
I don't understand.
It is simple to understand. This is the place where I discovered I am not of an inferior race. Here in this place I was your father's superior. Now I am your superior. I can live where you can die, where he died.
You let him die?
No, I didn't want him to die. I wanted to enjoy my sense of superiority. I carried him back, but it was too late. He was too weakened.
I can't think properly.
But I can. Your father wanted you to come here for the diamond. It was an easy promise for me to give him. I wanted to bring you here. I wanted to realize my superiority.
It's crazy kind of talk. That's crazy. You're like my brother. He was like your father.
Oh, no. He was the great Paulo Santos. Perhaps the greatest explorer and ship designer of his day. He built our ship. He was the scientist supreme, superior man. And you're his natural son. Guido, look up there. I said look up there. You can see the diamond peak.
Some kind of rock. Crystal rock.
No, pure diamond. I have been up there. I chipped a piece off. I brought it back here to your father. He knew it was diamond. He lived just long enough to confirm that. I can reach the diamond, you see. But you can't. No one of your race could, but I can.
I've got to get to lower ground.
Not without my help. See, you're too weak to move. You must depend on me.
You're crazy.
Oh, no. I won't let you die. But I'll take away your sidearms. I can't have you armed. How does it feel, Guido?
Feel?
About superior man suddenly confronted by superiority of an inferior race.
I've got to get to lower ground.
A situation that reflects the law of the universe, Guido. Your father was always talking about that. Well, I don't want you to die. I want you to live so that you can serve me. I get you to lower ground.
You know, hate has a very real place in life. We need it. Man is unique among the living things on this planet in that he does have hate. Man hated the wolf. He hated the cave bear. He eliminated those species that were just not tolerable. Hate has a good side. Hate has a place. The difficulty is when the hate is misplaced, when it is generalized and not specialized to the point where it belongs, to the thing that is really wrong. I'm afraid Phil misunderstood and had his hate directed in the wrong direction. It wasn't a race he hated. He just thought he did. What he hated was to have someone who was older and wiser than he himself. And now he had misplaced it to another guy who was trying to do a good job with him.
You won't have any use for sidearms, so don't try to get them back. If you do, I'll kill you.
What do you have in mind?
I have a plan, but I'll need to have the help of the people here. You can't reach the diamond, but I can, and so can they. Our job is to get them to carry the drilling equipment up that hill so that I can start chipping the diamond.
You think they'll work for you?
They're afraid of me. After your father died, they attacked, and I had to kill some of them with a blaster. That's why they don't show themselves now. It may take a little while, but I've got to make them understand that they must do what I want.
Suppose you succeed.
Well, when I leave here, I'll take away enough diamond to convert into enough cash that will make me just about the richest man on earth. Once I've done that...
What about me?
You?
Won't I be an obstacle?
No.
You'll do away with me?
Not here. I'll wait until we're out in space.
Just like that?
I'm afraid so. It's funny, isn't it?
Oh, yes. You identify yourself with what you call an inferior race and resent the people who made you our intellectual equal.
Human nature. I should feel grateful instead, huh? Is that it?
You've been shown nothing but kindness. Gratitude wouldn't be out of place.
If you only knew how I hated that word.
I know. Some people do. It makes them squirm. They cry for help. They get it, and they hate you for it.
I didn't cry for help.
Yes. You were a child of 4, abandoned in the jungle. You were crying when my father found you. You'd have died or been killed by some animal. Or survived and just been a savage.
Now it's coming out. Everything you and your father felt about me.
I'm sorry for you, Phil.
You sorry for me. I hold the reins.
No. History is full of people like you. The little upstarts with a lust for power and hatred. You never last long. The law of the universe never tolerates you.
Law of the universe. You sound like your father.
That's nice to know, Phil. By the way, we're being watched.
I know that.
You'd better let me have my sidearm.
Not a chance.
You said these people were scared.
They are.
Not scared enough. That's another law of the universe and a lesson from history. People are never too scared to resist an invader. And we're invaders.
They won't resist. If I turn this blaster on them again...
The ones you kill won't.
I don't want to kill them. I want to talk to them.
In what language?
Sign language. What else?
You can try.
It may take weeks or months.
Well, what happens in the meantime?
We'll go back to the ship. There's open space there. Sooner or later, a few of them will approach us. Then I'll try to talk to them.
Then we better start down, unless we're surrounded.
I'll blast our way through if there's trouble. Come on. Keep ahead of me where I can see you.
No trouble. You see? I'm sure I spotted a couple.
Shadows. All right. We're about a quarter of a mile from the ship. Come on. Keep in front. Get down. A slingshot. A piece of rock.
Yes, it hit this tree instead of one of us.
Piece of rock. Here it is.
A diamond the size of a small egg.
Diamonds for ammunition. This planet must be crawling with diamonds. Keep down. I blast from the kingdom come.
I bet we're the first ones in history to be stoned with diamonds. Better pick them up.
You pick them up. If I could just see what those savages are.
They're not too close. We can't stay here. Come on before they close in from all sides. You may not have time to shoot in all directions.
All right. We push on.
I've got a feeling they see us.
The ship is pretty close now.
Oh, we got away. I had to use a gun once. Better keep quiet. You have a nasty cut on your head. We're going back to report to the World Council. Every country in the world has a stake in this matter. The Council will decide what to do about the diamonds, not us.
Why didn't you leave me there? To them.
Let's say two basic laws came into conflict. The law of the universe decreed your death. You're alive only because of the basic law of civilized human nature, compassion. You've still got to learn that, Phil. Nothing will change that.
You can make yourself and a lot of other people around you mighty unhappy if you try to have all values and be able to do everything. Consider yourself tops at anything around. None of us has that ability. We can't do it all. But each of us has his own special talents, his own individual abilities. And for these, every one of us is valued. And every one of us needs every other one for that special individual talent. No individual is everything. The other guy's got something you need.
Heard in our cast tonight were Mason Adams and Donald Bucher. The script was by John Fleming. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. This is Guy Wallace speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman. Guys, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who has come to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men, and to wage a never-ending battle against crime and oppression disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. When the Yellow Mask trapped Kent in a deep concrete tank in the basement of his hideout, the young reporter found it impossible to escape without revealing his identity as Superman to Lois Lane, young Jimmy Olsen, and Police Commissioner Malone, who were prisoners in the tank with him. But fortunately, Lois and Jimmy, both exhausted, fell asleep. That left only the police commissioner, who was suffering from a broken ankle. As Kent tried to set the ankle, the commissioner fainted from the pain. In a moment, Superman broke a hole through one side of the concrete tank. But just then, the voice of the Yellow Mask came booming out of a hidden loudspeaker. Listen.
Stay where you are, Kent. I've got a shotgun in my hands, and I'll blow everyone in that tank of Kingdom Come if you move.
Hey, what happened? Clark. Clark, where are you?
Right here. Nothing's happened.
That's what you think. Don't move, any of you.
Someone's thrown him.
Commissioner Malone. I stepped on his ankle and he fainted. See if you can help him, Lois.
Don't move, Miss Lane. My finger is not very steady on this trigger.
Clark, what'll I do?
Here you are. What's the idea of the shotgun? You know we're helpless down here.
The shotgun will just ensure you're being helpless until I decide how to get rid of you.
What do you mean?
I've just heard some disquieting news over the radio. News that concerns your fate and the fate of your friends.
Now, wait a minute. I don't care what you heard over the radio. We followed your instructions to the letter. You wanted Commissioner Malone to call police headquarters and tell one man to deliver those jewels to the crossroads.
But somehow you tricked me.
Oh, no. That's not true. You heard Malone make the call. He ordered Captain Sullivan to bring the jewels to the crossroads. That was all he said.
Then possibly you can explain why the two men I sent to meet Captain Sullivan are now being hunted by the police. Possibly you can explain why they haven't returned with the jewels.
Well, maybe they decided to double-cross you and take the jewels for themselves.
What did you say?
I said maybe your own men double-crossed you and ran off with the jewels.
Ah, no, my friend. Nobody attempts that with the Yellow Mask. Nobody.
Oh, Clark, the commissioner's in pain.
Mask.
Yes, what is it?
Commissioner Malone broke his ankle when he fell through the trap door into this tank. He's suffering.
He won't be suffering very long. That much I can promise you.
He's not human.
Yes, Miss Lane, quite human. Human enough to suspect that your friend, Mr. Kent, and the worthy police commissioner have tried to trick me.
How could we?
I don't know, but there are sufficient grounds for suspicion. A report over the radio said that two men in possession of some jewels were being hunted by the police and are expected to be momentarily apprehended. If those are my men, something has gone wrong.
It's not our fault. Commissioner Malone followed your instructions.
It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Under the circumstances, I shall be forced to leave here at once. Therefore, I find it necessary to destroy all the evidence that might be used against me. Unfortunately, Mr. Kent, you and your friends are that evidence.
You're mad.
No, just careful.
Now, wait. I warn you, Mask. If any harm comes to Miss Lane, or to Jimmy or the commissioner, you'll have someone besides the police to account to.
A very pretty speech, Kent. Very pretty.
It wasn't meant to be pretty. Of course, I know it's too much to expect from anyone like you, but the least you could do is give us time to live up to our part of the bargain.
Time? I've given you plenty of time. The jewels should have been here an hour ago. However, just to prove to Miss Lane that I am human, I'll give you 10 more minutes. I happen to have a clock handy. Get it? 10 minutes. 10.
As the clock slowly ticks the seconds away, and each passing moment brings Clark Kent closer to the time when he must reveal himself as Superman in order to save 3 lives, the masked henchmen Lefty and Joe, who, as we know, have double-crossed the mask and are fleeing with the jewels in an old stolen car, begin to lose their nerves. They hear the distant wail of police car sirens.
The cops are riding every road around here, Lefty. They'll nab us sure.
Ah, shut up.
I don't want to take no rap. They're right behind us. Let me out.
You stay where you are. There's a wagon road going into the woods. I'll turn in. Here we go now. All right, now just sit tight. If they get us, we're sunk. Having this hot ice will send us up for 20 years.
Sit tight, I said they can't see us.
What a break. They went right by. Let's get rid of this car, Lefty. It ain't safe. We can leg it through the woods.
And leave the jewels? Not me.
I don't want no part of them. They're too hot.
Ah, take it easy, Joe. We'd be mugs to let loose of the stuff now we got our hands on it. Let me think.
It's too hot for me.
Hey, look. Look, here's what we'll do. We'll take it back to the mast. He's got an airplane. We can make a quick getaway. Give these cops the slip.
And then what?
Well, if the mast don't pay off the way we think he ought to pay off, we settle with him.
Hmm? What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Oh.
Come on, let's get going.
I don't like the sound of them sirens. They give me the willies.
All right, grab the suitcase.
Okay.
Now follow me.
Clark,
Yes, Lois?
doesn't look very good, does it?
What do you mean?
Well, 10 minutes are almost up. Do you really think he'll do what he threatened? Get rid of us?
Don't you worry about that. Where's Jimmy?
Right here, Mr. Kent.
Here, take my hand.
Right.
That's the boy. Now listen to me. There's a hole in the side of this tank.
A hole? How did it get there?
Never mind that now. You crawl through first, Jimmy. And Lois will follow you.
Yeah, but what about you and Commissioner Malone? He hasn't come to yet.
He must have passed out completely from that broken ankle.
I'll take care of him.
Let Miss Lane go through, Mr. Kent. I'd rather stick with you.
No, Jimmy, you've got to go along with Lois to protect her. Now, somehow, you both must find your way out of this basement. Be quiet and be careful. Chances are you'll find a flight of steps leading to the yard and back of the house. Hide there until I call you. No matter what you hear and no matter what happens. All right, now hurry. You first, Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm through.
All right, Lois. And please don't worry.
I won't.
We'll be waiting for you, Clark.
Right. I don't like them wandering around alone, but it's a chance I had to take. Now I can deal with the mask as he should be dealt with.
As Superman. First, I'll have to carry Malone through that opening. There. He won't be hit now in case the mask makes use of that shotgun.
Your 10 minutes are up, Kent.
Mr. Kent isn't here.
What's that?
I said Mr. Kent is gone.
What, you trying to pull another one of your tricks on me? Oh, no, this time it won't work. This is the end.
You're right, Mask. The end for you. Here I come, right through the iron bars covering the top of your tank. Up, up. No use shooting now. You're too late. Where are you? Oh, there you are, eh? Put that gun down.
Stand back. Stand back, I say.
You've given your last order, Mask. Now you're going to pay for everything.
Who are you?
What difference does that make? Give me that gun.
No. No.
Well, I see I'll have to take it away from you. And break it in two. Now I'll settle with you.
No. No, you'll kill me.
Frightened, aren't you? Trembling like a leaf. But you weren't frightened when you planned to murder 4 human beings in that concrete tank, were you? You didn't tremble when you lured those transport planes into that quicksand pit and buried people alive, did you?
I'll confess. I'll tell everything.
There's nothing you can tell that I don't know.
Boss, open up.
Who's that?
My men.
Well, that's very interesting. Maybe they have the jewels.
Boss, open up.
I'll open the door. Come in, gentlemen.
Hey, what is this?
I said come in. Must I help you? All right.
Hey, let go of me. My arm.
I see you have the suitcase containing the jewels. Very nice of you to bring it back. I'll take it.
Hey. No, Lefty, no gun.
He's right, Lefty. If you want to remain in one piece, drop that gun. There, that's better. Now, just relax while I phone the police and ask them to pick you 3 up.
You can't pin up on me.
Oh?
Let him have it, Joan.
Oh, now that's the way you want it, eh? All right, here goes. That gun won't help you, Lefty. There. Now, Mr. Yellow Mask, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time.
No.
There. That should keep the 3 of them quiet for some time. It looks like Superman's work is over.
Clark Kent can put the call in to the police. Operator, get me police headquarters. That's right, police headquarters.
Mr. Kent, I still don't understand how you knocked the three of them out cold.
Wasn't so difficult, Jimmy. You see, I grabbed Lefty's gun and used it as a club. I guess I was pretty lucky.
Well, we were all lucky to get out alive.
Yeah.
I hope the commissioner's ankle's all right. They rushed him to a hospital. We'll have to do a lot of explaining to Mr. White when we get back.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I called him. He was worried about us, but he's glad we're all right. And incidentally, he said there's a big story breaking. One of the biggest the Daily Planet ever handled.
Well, I wonder what it is.
We'll find out soon enough.
What is the story Editor White is referring to? Will it lead Kent, Lois, and Jimmy into more danger? Don't forget to tune in next time for the thrilling beginning of a brand new Superman adventure.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a man! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, it's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who has come to Earth with physical powers far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, bend steel in his bare hands, race a speeding bullet to its target, and who wages a never-ending battle against crime and oppression, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper. When we last saw him, Kent, as Superman, had captured the Yellow Mask and turned the master criminal over to the police. Returning to the Daily Planet, he was informed by Lois Lane that Editor Perry White wanted to see both of them in a hurry. As our story opens today, Kent and Lois are outside Editor White's office, waiting to be announced. Listen.
Yes? Clark Kent and Lois Lane? Have them come right in, please. Now, as I was saying, Mr. Remsen, this city has never had a crooked DA in all its history. So the Daily Planet will more than welcome the chance to put all its power and prestige behind the movement to get rid of District Attorney Parker. If ever a man was guilty of using his high office for crooked, unprincipled... Oh, come in, Lois. Hello, Clark.
Oh, Mr. White. Got your orders for us to prepare before you pronto.
So we came running.
Clark, Lois, I want you to meet Mr. Remsen. Ralph Remsen.
Oh.
How do you do?
Remsen. I recall that name. Weren't you District Attorney Parker's assistant at one time?
That's right.
Oh, of course, I remember now. You resigned because you claimed the rotten politics going on in Parker's office was too much for you to take.
Yes, I resigned, all right. That was about 2 months ago. Sit down, Lois. Clark, we've something to talk over. Mr. Remsen has come to me with a rather astounding offer. If he means what he says...
Don't worry about that. I meant every word of what I said.
Well, if that's really the case, we're about to start one of the biggest anti-crook campaigns this paper's ever had the privilege of sponsoring. Mr. Remsen, I wish you'd tell these two exactly what you told me.
Badly. You see, it was 2 months ago that I resigned as District Attorney Parker's assistant. Under his regime, I saw things going on that were pretty crooked, pretty hard to stomach. I don't think I have to remind you of the almost numberless criminals, gangsters, triggermen, slot machine vendors, crooks of all sorts, in fact, who slipped between the fingers of the law because of the help they got from Parker.
No, I don't think you do. There's certainly a lot of them. Sophie Sonderman, Lucky Larry Lorimer, Easy Furness, and a lot more.
Exactly. It's because of Parker and his crooked management of the district attorney's office that the men you just mentioned, and many more like them who are menaces to law-abiding citizens, are still at large in this city. Now, for 2 months, I've wanted to do something. I wanted to start a campaign, do something to get Parker out of office.
You're right, Mr. Remsen.
With Mayor Healy in office, a campaign against Parker ought to be easy. You know Mayor Healy's reputation.
Sure, the clean-up mayor. Dedicated himself to having the cleanest city in the world.
Right. Now, I've talked with Mayor Healy. He's as anxious to get Parker out of office as any of us.
Uh-huh.
But there's one hitch.
Oh, what's that?
The people themselves. You see, it's only those of us who are on the inside who know what Parker really is. The general public thinks of him as a philanthropist, a generous charity worker. He's built up that reputation. Of course, merely as a blind. Before Mayor Healy can do anything, we've got to expose Parker to the people for what he really is.
And how do you propose to do that, Mr. Remsen?
Simple. I worked in Parker's office as Parker's assistant for a long, long time. I kept my eyes and ears open. I'm in a position now not only to make definite charges against District Attorney Parker, that I can back up those charges with substantial proof. Well, I've got everything that could possibly be needed. Signed letters, photostatic copies of checks given to Parker by well-known criminals, a photostated copy of his account book up to 2 months ago, and a lot more proof if we need it.
You see, Clark, Lois, Remsen's idea is for the Daily Planet to start an anti-Parker campaign. You two will write the story for the information Remsen gives you.
Huh?
It's the greatest chance we've ever had to do the public a real service, and I'm all for it.
Say nothing of the boost in circulation, Chief?
Well, that does enter into it, of course. A newspaper's lifeblood, so to speak, is its circulation.
Oh, Mr. White.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't mean that as a pun, young woman. You both know as well as I do that the better our circulation, the more advertising we get. And we depend on that advertising to keep us going. However, the important thing is not only to get Parker out of office, but if possible to put him behind bars as well. If ever a man deserves prison for what he's done...
You're quite right, of course. Well, when do we get to work?
The sooner the better. What's the matter with right now?
Okay with me.
Me too.
Fine. You can get all the dope you need for your first article from Remsen and have it ready for the early edition. You'll print the story tonight and have it on the streets in the morning.
Oh, hold on. Not so fast, Mr. White. I'm afraid you'll have to give me a little time to get my stuff prepared.
It won't take you long to get enough material together for one article, will it?
Don't forget, I have a lot of other things to do as well. However, I believe I can have enough material for the first article against Parker ready by about, shall we say 4 this afternoon?
Suits me. Lois and I have a date for dinner and the theater afterwards. But we can whip out an article between 4 and 7 without half time. Okay with you, Lois?
Sure thing.
Good. Then let's all meet in my office here at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
All right.
Mr. Remsen, I can't tell you how indebted I am to you for the chance you're giving us. The chance to do a really great service for the people of this city. All right, then, 4 o'clock this afternoon here in my office.
42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 7...
Brownie, will you, for heaven's sake, stop playing with that yo-yo?
Oh, D.A., look what you went and made me do. I bet I could have gotten up to a 100 on my yo-yo if you hadn't interrupted.
I don't pay you to play with a yo-yo. Now put it away.
What's eating you, D.A.? Well, I remember the time I could sit here in your private office and play with the yo-yo all day long.
All right,
You remember the day I almost broke a 100? I got up to 85 and then the string broke. I bet I could have broken
If you don't stop talking.
Gee, I'm sorry, D.A. You're upset, ain't you?
Upset is hardly the word for it. I'm in a spot, and for once in my life, I don't know what to do about it.
Who's bothering you, D.A.? Just give me his name and address.
No. This is one thing that can't be handled by strong-arm methods. Brownie, the doc was in to see me this morning.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that's sort of keeping near to the ground for you, ain't it?
Yes. He told me something that set me to thinking.
Yeah?
The Daily Planet is starting a campaign to get me out of office and put me behind bars.
The Daily Planet, eh? That's simple. I just mosey up, pay the editor a little visit.
Haven't I just told you it's not as simple as all that? We're not dealing with one person now, Brownie. We're dealing with a newspaper, a great corporation. I wouldn't be unduly worried about it. I've been through this sort of thing before, except...
Yeah, except what?
Brownie, the man who's supplying the material for these articles is none other than Ralph Remsen. Remember him?
Oh, I say, there was a guy. He was the straightest guy I ever met. Say, you remember the arguments you used to have and how he finally quit?
Yes, I remember. I remember only too well. If it were anyone but Remsen, we might be able to buy him off.
Well, what's wrong with bumping him off?
Can't do that. He's probably turned over all the material he's got to the newspaper. No, Brownie, this seems to be one problem that has no answer to it. One riddle that seems to have no solution.
Well, my opinion...
Wait a minute. Come in. I said come in. See who it is, Mr. Brownie.
Okay. Why, it ain't nobody. There ain't nobody here.
On the contrary, Brownie, there is someone here. Quite definitely here.
What was that?
Brownie, did you hear it too?
Why, of course he heard it. You both here. I'm here in this room with you, but you can't see me. You might ask me to sit down, Parker.
Yes. Yes, by all means. Sit down, please.
I hope my coming hasn't been too much of a shock to you. You see...
Wait a minute. What's going on here? Who are you? Where are you?
As to who I am, Parker, that need not concern you. As to where I am, I'm sitting in this chair across from you. You cannot see me because I am invisible.
I'm getting out of here. Where's me yo-yo?
Stay where you are, Brownie. You're not going to be hurt. As a matter of fact, I've come here, Parker, to offer my services to you.
Your services?
In this matter of the newspaper campaign that's getting underway. Oh, that. You need my help, Parker. You're powerless to prevent the Daily Planet from printing that story alone. But I can prevent them from printing it.
How?
Leave that to me. The question is, are you willing to pay for whatever help I can give you?
Certainly I'm willing to pay. But see here, what's this gag about being invisible? How could anybody, possibly by the greatest stretch of the imagination...
I will only say, Parker, that there is nothing supernatural about it. I make myself invisible by means of a trick. What that trick is shall, of course, remain a secret with me. Now, let's get down to business. A campaign directed against you has been started. If it is not stopped, it will surely wreck your career and ruin you forever. Only I can stop it. How much are you willing to pay?
How much do you want?
$100,000.
100,000? Oh, that's ridiculous. It's downright criminal.
How well you know the meaning of the word. Parker, I want $100,000. Not a penny more.
Now you're sure, you two, that Remsen has given you enough material for the first article against District Attorney Parker?
I think so, Chief. It's all about the Lucky Larry Lorimer case. Photographer's working on the photostats of certain checks and things now. Lois and I'll finish the article at just about the time the pictures are ready. Now, don't worry. Story will break tomorrow morning without fail.
Now, don't forget to get in that bit about the fixed juryman.
Well, I've got a note of that right here, Miss Ransom.
Good.
Lois, you mustn't forget, we had a dinner and theater date together. The quicker we get started on this article, the better.
That's so. And when you finish it, you can tear it up.
What under the sun? Who said that? Didn't somebody say...
Well, either I heard a strange voice in this room or I'm going crazy.
No. You did hear a strange voice. Who said that?
I did, Mr. Kent.
Who are you? Where are you?
I'm standing behind Editor White's chair.
Great Scott!
As to who I am, gentlemen, Miss Lane, prepare to do business with the Invisible Man.
What strange mystery surrounds the Invisible Man? By what trick does he make himself invisible? And how does he intend to stop our friends from publishing their articles about District Attorney Parker? Be sure to hear the next thrilling and mystifying episode of this story with Superman.
And remember, tune in the next thrilling installment of the transcription feature, Superman. Up in the sky! Look! It's a plane! It's Superman! Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Blast off, minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. As the sun blazes fiercely in a sky blacker than the blackest midnight of Earth, and countless brilliant stars gleam on every side, Space Cadets Tom Corbett, Roger Manning, and Astro blast through the void in the rocket cruiser Polaris. They are about to begin a week's leave on the shining planet that already looms in the distance, Astro's home world, Venus.
It won't be long now, Astro. We should be landing in an hour.
Oh, that's swell, Tom. I can hardly wait to get home and see the family again.
I'll bet.
After I say hello to Astro's family, I have some unfinished business.
Yeah, we know. That girl in Venusport.
Mm-hmm. The Venus of Venus. You know, Astro, I can't figure out how the same planet can produce a gal like Gloria and an ape like you. Look, Hotshot, one more blast of your jet gas and I'll throw you right out into space just to see if you could make Venus under your own power.
Venusport calling rocket cruiser Polaris. Venusport to Polaris.
Hold it a minute, fellas.
Come in, Polaris.
Polaris to Venusport. Cadet Pilot Corbett here. Go ahead.
This is Lieutenant Commander Burke of the Solar Guard. Sorry we didn't catch you while you were further out. Afraid I have a little bad news. Your leave will have to be delayed while you cut over to Mercury.
Leave canceled?
What's the idea?
Unfortunately, the Polaris is the only official ship available to look into a serious situation.
Well, what is it, sir? What's up?
The two teams of government scientists have been operating diggers on Mercury's hot side recently in a top-secret project. Had you heard anything about it?
We knew they were there, sir, that's all.
Well, their radio operators kept in constant touch with us from their Twilight Zone base, but a few hours ago he apparently attempted to call and the transmitter suddenly went dead. Normally any break should be repaired by now, so it looks as if they're in serious trouble. Clear so far?
Yes, sir. What are our orders?
We're to proceed to Mercury at once, investigate, and report to us by radio. But use extreme caution or you may be in danger yourselves. Authorities here suspect an outbreak of zero-A fever.
Zero-A fever?
What's that? I've heard of it, sir. Zero-A means zero atmosphere. Space pioneers used to get it on airless planets, but I thought it had been wiped out.
Well, it can't be cured like a disease. This is psychosis. Insanity, like the cabin fever of ancient days that affected small groups cooped up in vast isolated quarters. But in zero-A, there's the additional strain of existing in spacesuits or small pressurized bases on a hostile world.
Sir, what happens when a man goes zero-A?
And he becomes insane, has hallucinations. Usually goes berserk, smashing, killing. Extremely dangerous to his companions and to himself.
Great Jupiter, a maniac in a spot like that.
We'll get there as fast as we can, sir.
That fever isn't catching, is it?
Oh,
you bubblehead. How could it be?
Just a moment. Matter of fact, zero-A may be catching in a sense.
But, sir, if it's mental...
Well, we speak of the yawn being catching. That's mental, too. In the case of zero-A, everybody's under the same strain. They're all potential victims. So when one goes, all may go. You understand?
Yes, sir, I certainly do.
Then you also understand why I'm ordering you to be very, very careful. All right. That's it. Blast off for Mercury and spaceman's luck.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, there's a lot more to being a space cadet than blasting off on a trip through space. The cadets get plenty of work to do right here on the ground. Tom Corbett and the other cadets have physical training, just like you do. And it's plenty rough. Listen to what Tom Corbett said one day down at the gym.
They sure give you a morning workout around here. If you spacemen have a tough gym class, there are two things you can do to make it a lot easier. The first is to go to class on the moon. That's right. You see, the moon's gravity is only 1/3 of the Earth's. So you can run and jump 3 times as far and as high. And the other thing to do, well, that's the best. That's starting your day with a breakfast built around Kellogg's Pep. Pep gives you more builder-upper food values than any other wheat flakes. When you eat Pep, you get a valuable supply of vitamins, vitamin B1 and D, and other food values that help keep you going in high down at the gym. And Pep's food values can help you build up bigger and stronger muscles, too. When you find out what Pep can do for you and how absolutely swell Kellogg's Pep tastes, you'll start your day the way the Space Cadets do, with a heaping bowl full of Kellogg's Pep.
Well, it's just like Tom Corbett says, Spaceman. Taste that swell, malty-rich flavor. Kellogg's Pep gives you the kind of swell eating that makes you want second helping. With a first spoonful, you'll say, from now on, my cereal is Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Swinging around its orbit like a ball on a string, Mercury keeps the same face forever turned toward the sun. On one side, it is always glaring day, blazing with a surface temperature of 450 degrees. On the other side, always night, dark and cold as space itself. Only in the narrow band between, the Twilight Zone, can men establish temporary camps on this airless and unfriendly planet. Now, as the Polaris speeds over the bright side toward the silent Twilight Zone base, the cadets stare down at the burning land beneath them.
How would you like to have to work down there, Astro?
In that blast furnace? Not me, Tom. I don't see how those scientists do it. Well, they have mechanical molds.
They're diggers, big, powerful machines developed for just this sort of setup. They were first used on the moon.
They're built something like you, Astro. Big and clumsy. All right, wise guy.
Matter of fact, the diggers aren't so clumsy, except when they fly.
Fly? Oh, yeah, they do at that. It doesn't seem possible.
Well, they're no dreamboats, but they are jet-equipped for short flights under low-gravity conditions.
And a rough landing doesn't damage them or the people in them.
And they can work on a place like this, huh?
Not on it, you Venusian clunk. Under it.
He means beneath the surface, Astro. They dig underground and burrow there like moles, protected from the worst of the heat. They can gather tons of rock samples or usable ore that way.
Hey, I wonder what they're looking for here.
Well, no one knows. This seems to be a real hush-hush deal.
Hey, fellas, look down there. Oh, too late.
Well, what was it?
I'm not sure, Tom, but I thought I saw something landing on the surface.
A digger?
Well, not from your description.
Well, what then, a spaceship?
No, it wasn't big enough for that, or even a jet boat. It looked like a man in a spacesuit with body jets.
A man with body jets?
It must have been your imagination, Astro. Why, even the Polaris couldn't protect us from the heat for long if we were down there. Okay, guys, get to your stations. We're entering the twilight zone. Now we've got to locate the base, fast, and find out what's happened here. Here's the base. Come on.
Not much more than a good-sized hut.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be stuck in a place like this for long.
Be careful now. We don't know what we're getting into. It may be all right, but... Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Look at the hatches in the pressure compartment.
Great galaxy. Both of them open. That means there's no air inside.
Looks bad, fellas. Come on, but watch your step. Lazy comet. What a mess.
Wow, it sure is.
No wonder the transmitter went dead. It smashed to bits.
Everything's smashed. The whole place is wrecked. As though a maniac had been loose.
Yeah. Well, anyway, nobody's here now.
Well, that's all right with me. I wouldn't like to... What are you staring at, Tom?
Someone is here. Look. Over by the bulkhead.
A man. And Tom, he's dead.
Gosh. Well, this man must have been the base operator. He probably kept a log. If we can find it, it might help.
There's some stuff over here in the corner.
Now, let's see. Yes, here it is.
Anything in it?
Apparently, there were only 5 men on this project. The dead operator, Adams, and 4 scientists, divided into 2 teams.
What does it say about today?
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, here it is. Teams started out in diggers at 0800, and Adams made his regular report to Venus. At 8:30, both teams called in to say they were okay. 8:49, Team A said it was moving. Landed a few minutes later, and, hey, listen to this. They started yelling something about giant men.
Giant men?
Uh-huh. Then more shouting and noise, and that was all.
08 fever. That proves it.
That's what Adams and the other team figured, too. Now, let's see. Team B flew to help. Landed at 9:01. And apparently Adams didn't hear any more from them.
Well, what happened to Adams?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. Here it is. At 9:15, he wrote that he was going to call Venus unless somebody reported in soon. But then he heard a signal at the outside hatch.
Yeah? And then what?
That's the last entry he made. Evidently, he opened the hatch and... Well, you saw him.
But one of the guys on Team A must have gone 0A all of a sudden.
Or maybe both of them.
Yes, and there's no telling what happened to them or the other team. Or where they are now. Let's see. The log says they landed on sector T34. There should be a map somewhere.
Oh, right there on the bulkhead behind you.
Oh, yes. T34. Right. Here it is. Now, that's where they were. But somebody was here after that. Wait a minute. Astro, wasn't it around there you thought you saw a man land on the surface?
Yeah, just about there.
We'd better get up to that sector in a hurry. There may still be something we can do.
Wait a minute. The Polaris is really too fast and big for a job like this.
Sure it is. We'll use the jet boat. Come on.
This sector T34 looks so small on the map, you'd think we could have covered it by now.
We probably could if I didn't have to maneuver this jet boat all over the place to be sure we look into all these mountains and valleys.
While we're practically looking under every rock here, the guys we're looking for may be dying somewhere else.
What else can we do, Roger?
We can't do anything else, but they ought to send more men out from Venus.
How can they? You heard what Commander Burke told us when we called in. With most of their fleet out near Neptune and their last cruiser laid up for repair.
Well, he admitted they still have a destroyer left.
But he has to keep at least one ship on planetary duty. You know that. It's regulation.
Regulations. Why don't you and Burke both go blow your jets? Who cares about it?
Look down there. In that sort of canyon below us.
Where? Oh, yeah. Oh, that must be one of the diggers, huh?
That's what it is, all right.
I'll circle down and get closer.
Say, there's the other digger. But it's turned over on its back. Why, that's almost impossible, the way those things hug the ground.
And they weigh 20 tons. You'd think it would take an earthquake.
Maybe it was an earthquake.
Maybe, but an earthquake didn't call Adams to be killed or dream up the idea about giant men.
They're two of the guys we've been looking for. We're too late to help them.
What do you mean? Where are they?
Lying on the ground right near that overturned digger, almost hidden by it.
Yes, I see. 2 men in spacesuits. Dead?
How could they be alive at that temperature?
Yes, they're dead, Astro. But that still leaves 2 unaccounted for.
There they are. But one of them's alive. He's carrying the body of the other one.
It's impossible.
Well, look there, near the cliff. Only something's wrong. The one that's being carried is so small.
Great galaxy, no, Astro. The body is normal size like the others. But the live one is huge. He must be at least 10 feet tall.
Blazing comet, a giant man. Then those scientists didn't have zero-A fever after all.
Unless maybe we've got it, too.
I'm going down for a closer look.
All right, but don't get too close, will you? He may try to get us, too.
Probably, but we should be safe in this jet boat.
Yeah, and the other guy should have been safe in diggers.
Hey, you can see now he's not just big. He's built all wrong. Even in a spacesuit, a man doesn't look like that.
No, the legs and his arms. Why, look, he has extra arms.
With metal claws on them. Oh, brother, tell me I'm just having a nightmare.
I wish we were. Fellas, did you see that? Well, it turned its head in a complete circle.
Back this way. I think it sees us.
With what? It has no face. There's just a blank surface behind a sort of faceplate.
I'm upping the man's body.
And it's blasting off. Flying. Straight for us.
Tom, get out of here in a hurry. That thing's fast as a rocket ship.
Hang on, I'm pouring on. Roger. You get on that radio to Venus. Tell them we need help. In a hurry.
Manning, for heaven's sake, snap out of it. You realize what you're saying?
I sure do, Commander Burke, and it's true.
A giant over 10 feet tall, unharmed by 450-degree temperature, capable of damaging a jet boat?
Sir, he could ruin the jet boat. We wouldn't have a chance. We saw what he did to the diggers.
Manning, can't you understand that no human being could possibly fly as fast as a jet boat?
Human being? Whatever this thing is, sir, it sure isn't human.
Manning, what's become of the other members of your unit?
Why, they're here with me in the boat.
Are they? Then put one of them on.
Yes, sir. Here, Tom, talk to him, will you? This is Corbett, sir. Look, I know this is hard to believe back there on Venus, but we have to believe it. It has short legs, thick as tree trunks, no face, and... Tell him, Astro. 6 arms, sir. On a 6. With things on them.
All right, you all agree. But the Polaris unit has a reputation for pulling tricks. Now, this is a joke. I promise you that you...
Great galaxy, sir, no. Please believe us, this is deadly serious.
Well, very well. I'm sending you the help you need at once. End transmission. Lieutenant, did you hear that?
I certainly did, sir. Shall I order the destroyer to Mercury?
No, I'll commandeer a freighter. We need the destroyer for planetary duty.
But in a case like this, sir, the destroyer's armed and the freighter isn't. You said you'd send the help they needed.
Exactly. It's not weapons they need. It's medics.
Doctors? But that giant chasing...
Good heavens, Lieutenant. Don't tell me you believe that insane babble. It's obvious what's happened. Those cadets have gone zero-A.
Twilight zone coming up. How are we doing?
Oh, we've gained a little. That thing is nearly 100 yards behind. Is that enough?
I don't know. It depends.
Hey, I spotted the Polaris. East support. There, you're on the nose.
Right. I'm throwing on the forward jets for a fast stop. All the brakes we can stand. Brace yourselves. We're going down.
Tom, that monster is catching up fast.
I know. We'll be landing in 2 minutes. Right by the ship, I hope. It'll be a rough landing.
Look there. Another one of those things driving out from behind the rock.
Great Jupiter, he's cutting between us and the ship.
Right in our path. They've got us trapped.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Spacemen, everybody laughs when they see Mr. Funnyman himself, Bob Hope. Bob Hope is known the world over for being a wonderful comedian. In Paramount Pictures, he's made millions of people laugh. And now you can get a picture of Bob Hope that's good for even more fun. That's right. One of the swell magic eyes you can find in boxes of Kellogg's Pep shows Bob Hope in action. Tilt the magic eye, and Bob Hope starts performing right before your very eyes. You'll see loads of other exciting pictures in the Magic Eye series, too. Planes fly through the clouds. Trains go smoking down the track. And
And many of your favorite stars of the movies and sports are ready to go into action as soon as you work the Magic Eye. You can get a swell collection together in no time. That's because every time you get a package of Kellogg's Pep, you get a Magic Eye right along with it free at no extra cost. You want a complete set of all 16 Magic Eyes, so don't delay. Start saving Magic Eyes today. If you get doubles, swap them with your friends. That way, you get a complete set even sooner. And remember, every time you get Kellogg's Pep, you get a Magic Eye, too. Don't forget the name of the swell-tasting whole wheat cereal that brings you a Magic Eye free at no extra cost in every package. Ask Mom for Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
In a jet boat rocketing through the airless sky of Mercury, pursued by a huge and powerful monster which is seeking to destroy them, Tom Corbett has strained every nerve to maintain the slight lead which means the difference between life and death to himself and his friends Roger Manning and Astro. But just as it seems they have a chance to reach the comparative safety of the Polaris, another of the giant creatures zooms suddenly into their path, and the cadets are trapped.
Great galaxy, Tom. Climb, climb. It's our only chance. I'm trying to, but I've got speed for a landing, and it's tough to get her up. Come on, Tom. You can do it. You've got to. She's coming now. Come on, get that nose up, baby. That creature in front of us is climbing, too. It's going to meet us head on. Hold tight. I'm swinging hard aboard.
Look out, Tom. The thing's making a pass at us.
It's got us. We're spinning. It's all right. I still have control. We're okay for a second. That was close, Tom. I didn't think you could do it. I wasn't sure myself, Roger. Lucky that was only a glancing blow and it missed the jet.
If a glancing blow rocked us like that, a real crash will split us wide open.
Tom, here comes another one, diving from behind. All right. We'll dive, too.
He's following. Getting close.
Look out, Tom. You're going to crash it. Not quite. Now. Up.
Jumping Jupiter, Tom. I thought you were going right through the ground.
How about the monster that was after us? What happened to it? It pulled out of the dive just before we did. I hoped it would keep going and smash up. I can't keep away from both of them forever.
How can they see to maneuver like that? They have no eyes. Their faces are as blank as a radar screen.
Yes, a screen. A screen or a scanner. That's it. They aren't alive. They're robots.
Oh, machines?
Of course. That's why they can do things no human could do. They aren't space suits. They're just metal bodies.
I get it. They have scanners to send back a picture.
Send it back where? To wherever their owners are sitting out of danger controlling them.
Oh, yeah. Now I see the antennas on their helmets.
Boy, if I can only find the frequency on our receiver. Look, I got an idea. So have I. But we won't have a chance to try it. Here they come.
One on each side. What can you do, Tom?
Just hold my course and hope.
But they'll crush us between them. Tom, dodge.
Not yet.
They're closing in.
All right, now. Going down.
Squeezed through and the robots collided.
My trick worked. But they're not damaged. And one of them is bouncing back to us.
It's landed right on top of the jet boat.
Hey, I found one of the frequencies.
Who cares now? Tom, can you shake it off?
No, it's clamped on tight. The weight is sending us into a spin. I can't control the boat. Keep fighting. I'm going to turn on the transmitter. No, it's the right one. You've done it, Roger. The robot let go. We're okay.
Drifting away down to the ground. What happened?
I jammed its control frequency with our transmitter. I can keep it out of action now.
Yeah, but what about the other one? It's coming for us again.
I can't handle that one, too. Maybe I can. Hold your hats, fellas. I'm heading straight into it. No, Tom, we can't stand a collision with that thing. Don't talk. This is tricky. It's suicide. Do it, and hang on.
We're going to splash. Look out!
We did it! Did what? You nearly killed us. We hit something on that robot. Sure, the antenna. That's what I was aiming for.
You broke it off, Tom. The thing's going down, out of control.
Hey,
we're safe.
Nice going, Junior. We'd better land and clip the antenna on the other one in case this transmitter gets weak. Right. Then we'll get back to the Polaris.
Good. I'll sure be glad to get away from Mercury.
We can't leave, Astro. We'll have to stay here and guard the robots until help comes. Their owners might like to get them back, you know. Stay here on this crummy planet? Aren't you afraid we'll all go zero-A? No, Roger. After what we've been through, even zero-A fever would seem like a slight case of sunburn.
Don't miss the next action-packed episode with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the boys again find themselves in terrible danger from the monstrous robots and their human masters. in Part 2 of The Giant of Mercury. Tune in, same time, same station, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic section of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast are Jan Merlin, Al Markham, and Finton Hayworth. Today's program was written by Don Hughes, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
this program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight, we escape to the high mountains of Peru and the hunt for a fabulous treasure of ancient Inca relics, for which men are willing to die and to kill, as David Dodge tells it in his exciting novel, Plunder of the Sun. Living the way I do by my wits, you get into all kinds of risky deals, but I had no idea when I took Senor Berrien's little job that it would lead me to terrible danger, to a beautiful woman, and to a fabulous buried treasure of the Incas. I didn't have to take the job, but you see, there was Ana Luz. She was Senor Berrien's nurse, pushed him around in his wheelchair, gave him his heart medicine, and so on. I first saw her that day when we all met in the park at Valparaiso. Here, let me brush that bench off for you first, Senorita. It's pretty dirty, I'm afraid.
Gracias, senor.
Not at all.
You are simpático, senor. Senor Corbett.
Right, Senor Berrien. Now, what can I do for you?
I am told that you are a capable man. One who can be persuaded sometimes to take on a delicate assignment.
Is it legal?
Senor Corbett, I am a reputable businessman. There are, however, complications.
For instance?
For instance, I am going by boat back to my home in Peru. I wish to take along a small package. But this package contains an ancient Peruvian relic of great historical value. Peruvian law prohibits the export of such things. But this was smuggled out of Peru. I have come to Chile and recovered it, and I wish to return it to its rightful place in Peru. Unfortunately, however, Chilean law also prohibits its removal, and so...
So you want me to smuggle it for you?
Smuggle? Well, not exactly, but you see, I cannot carry it. I am too well known as a collector of such things. I will be thoroughly searched. However, you will be American tourists. You see, you would be performing a service to my country.
Hey, put it nicely, senor, but it's still smuggling if I'm caught.
I shall pay you 1,000 American dollars.
Oh? You will pay, not the government.
I am a collector and an archaeologist. My name will be forever connected with the recovery of this relic. That is what matters to me.
Well, I could see a lot of Peru on $1,000. Especially if I had someone to show me around. Will the senorita be coming along?
See, of course. And most grateful to you.
All right. I'll do it. The worst part of the boat trip was that I wasn't supposed to be seen with Berean or Ana Luz. The first day out, I was standing at the rail talking to one of the passengers, another American, as they came along.
Yeah, it's a nice country. Lots to see in South America. Have you been to the Inca ruins in Cusco?
No, I haven't gotten up that far yet.
Oh, well, you'll find it... Oh, pardon me. Well, buenos dias, Don Alfredo.
Yeah. Buenos dias, senor.
You're in good health, I trust?
Si, gracias.
And how are you, Ana Luz?
I'm very well, Senor Jefferson. Gracias.
Good. I hope to see you later, perhaps.
Hasta luego, senor.
Oh, sure. Hasta luego, Don Alfredo.
Your friend seems surprised to see you here.
Surprised? He almost had another heart attack, the old robber.
Interesting-looking man. Who is he?
Name's Berean, Peruvian dealer in antiques.
Oh, and the girl?
Oh, his nurse.
Even more interesting.
Yes, isn't she?
Tell me, are you perhaps also a dealer in antiques?
Me? I'm just a tourist, like you.
That was the first hint of trouble. When Berean saw this tourist, Jefferson, his face had gone white with fear, and I knew I better keep a close eye on the man. On our last night out, trouble came. I'd been playing poker with Jefferson and some of the passengers in the smoking room. When Jefferson left, I got out of the game as soon as I could and went to my cabin. Just as I turned into the corridor, I saw a dark figure hurrying away from my door. I went into my cabin and looked around. Everything seemed all right until I noticed the catch on my suitcase had been opened. Then I knew that hurrying figure couldn't have been Jefferson. He was too tall, and only one person knew I had the package. I went out into the corridor. There was a light on in her cabin, and I entered without knocking.
Oh, Senor Corbett, what do you want?
Ready for bed, senorita? Bathrobe, slippers? What do you have on under that?
Senor Corbett.
Let me see.
Don't be...
Just as I thought, senorita. Why are you fully dressed under your robe?
That is none of your business.
I think it is. It was a waste of time, senorita. I carry the package on me.
Oh, senor.
Now suppose we go next door to Berean's cabin and tell him you're not as trustworthy as he thought.
Oh, you don't...
That you're trying to get the package, too. We'll let him find out why. All right, come on.
He's asleep.
We'll wake him up.
You cannot. I have given him sleeping pills.
We'll see. Come on.
Take your hands off me. Let me go. Wait.
Huh?
That was Senor Berean's little bear. Beside his bed. There's something wrong.
Now listen,
Let me go. I must go to him.
All right, we'll go together. Where's the light? Something hit me in the jaw, and I went down hard. Somebody rushed past me and out into the corridor.
Senor Colby. Senor Colby. Hurry, turn on the light.
Huh?
By the door. Something is wrong.
All right. Wait a minute.
Don Alfredo. Don Alfredo.
Yeah. Something's wrong, all right. He's dead.
We shall return to Escape in a moment. But first, ladies, you can get a haircut every afternoon without going to the barber. There's music, there's fun, there's a surprise a minute with this haircut whose name is Gary Moore. Yes, Gary has his own daytime show now on CBS exclusively. A full hour every weekday, Monday through Friday, on most of these same CBS stations. So ladies, men too, choose your chair and get that haircut right away. And now we return to Escape. Don
Alfredo Berean was dead of a heart attack, or so the authorities in Callao said. I wasn't so sure they were right, but they seemed to want as little trouble as possible. All I wanted then was my $1,000, but it looked like I was holding the bag unless I could find out what the package was and turn it into money. As soon as I was alone in my hotel room, I unwrapped it. All it contained was a tangle of little colored strings and a page of old manuscript in a language I didn't know. I could make nothing of it, so I took it to the curator of the Callao Museum.
Very interesting, very. Where did you get it?
From a friend. What is it?
A tepu. An Inca message cord. A beauty.
Yeah, what's the message?
It is not exactly a message, senor, just a reminder of a story already known to the teller. Like tying a string around your finger for a reminder. Was there no manuscript with it?
Perhaps.
Ah, then the manuscript will tell the story.
Look, can you translate it for me?
Unfortunately, I do not know the language of the Incas.
Well, could you recommend anybody?
The best is Don Alfredo Balian.
No good, he's dead.
What? Don Alfredo dead?
This morning, of a heart attack on the boat from Chile.
Oh, a pity. He was a fine man. Now, I don't know. Perhaps Senor Najarro could do it, but I strongly advise you to turn it over to the museum. Under Peruvian law, it belongs to the government. Should you try to exploit it, you might get into serious trouble.
Thanks, I'll remember that. When I got back to the hotel, Anna Luce was waiting for me in the lobby.
Oh, Senor Colby.
Oh, Anna Luce. You come to show me the town?
I have come for the package. You may give it to me now.
Why, you was there?
I was the closest to him.
No, it's not good enough, Senorita. He obviously didn't mean for you to have it, or you wouldn't have tried to steal it from me.
Well, I must have it. For me, it is a kind of ransom. With it, I may buy my freedom.
Your freedom? From what?
From slavery, senor. Here in Peru, we have a kind of slavery. My family was too poor to care for me, so they gave me to a rich family as a servant. I am therefore the possessor of my patron, who raised me. With this package, I can repay my debt to him and thus be free.
But if Berin was your patron, it would seem that...
He was not my patron.
Who then?
I cannot tell. Oh, please, senor. Please, you said that you would like to be my friend. Perhaps somehow that could be.
Look, Anna Luce, I want to help you if I can.
Well, then
but I can't give you the package. I have to play the game my way. I'm sorry, Anna Luce. Very sorry. Suddenly, she was dead-looking and walked away from me. I knew she wasn't lying, that it was terribly important to her. Well, I supposed I'd lost her now, and I went up to my room feeling pretty miserable about it. The minute I opened the door, I knew something was wrong, but too late. Everything went black. When I came to, I was trussed up on the bed, tied hand and foot, and Jefferson was standing over me, the package in his hand, grinning.
You were pretty easy, chum. Didn't even muss my hair.
Oh. Hello, tourist. So you got it, huh? It was you in Berian's cabin, of course.
Of course.
Now I owe you 2 good socks. Not to mention something for Berian's murder and the loss of my commission.
I didn't kill him. He was dead when I got there.
So you say.
So I say. Anyway, now you can forget it, chum. You're all finished with this little party.
That's what he thought then. And as he left, I was wondering how he'd feel when he unwrapped the package and found it full of old newspaper clippings. After I got untied, I went down and got the manuscript out of the hotel safe. Took it to a photography shop and had 3 blow-up prints made of it. One of these I cut up word by word and separated the words into 3 piles. One pile I took along when I went out to look up Senor Najarro. He turned out to be an old crow of a man, bald and harmless looking, but sharp.
see, very interesting. These words are cut from a photograph of a manuscript, and you want me to translate them? That is hard, senor. They are out of context. It would be much easier if I could use the original or another photograph.
No, we'll do it this way.
Oh, senor, you do not trust me.
I don't trust anybody until I see what it is. Do you want the job?
Oh, it's not a job, senor. It's a pleasure. You see, I am interested. This kind of thing is my life.
How soon will you have these?
You come back this evening, eh? This evening, senor.
I went back to the hotel and put the original manuscript and one copy into the hotel safe. Then when I turned around, I saw Anna Luce standing across the lobby watching me. I started toward her, but she turned and almost ran out of the hotel. Seeing her run from me like that hurt. But I had to go through with it. And had a feeling that it was mostly for her that I was doing it. And to kill time till I could go back to Najaro's, I bought a copy of Prescott's book, The Conquest of Peru, hoping to read up on the Incas and perhaps find a clue to the manuscript. As it turned out, that was unnecessary, because while I sat there in the hotel patio, I had a visitor.
Hello, chum.
Well, Jefferson. What's new in the papers?
You're smarter than I thought. Smart enough not to have it on you, then or now, huh? Maybe we better be partners.
Partners?
Yeah, you've got the package. I know what it means.
I'll know what it means, too, very shortly.
You didn't give it to Najaro?
What do you know about him?
He's the only logical one. And he'd give his soul to get his hands on that manuscript. He's worse than Berean, you fool.
Don't worry, he hasn't got it and he won't get it. He's merely translating isolated words.
You are smart, aren't you? But even that may be dangerous. We've got to beat him to it.
To what?
To millions, literally millions in gold. Lost Inca treasure. You can read about it in that book you have there, how they had so much gold they paved the streets with it. How they hid it away, buried it when their empire fell to the Spaniards. It's all there. And the manuscript you have gives the exact directions on how to find one part of it. A part that's sure to be worth $1 million at present values.
No wonder everyone's after it.
Now, look, there's no time to waste. Give me the manuscript. I can translate it.
You're a man of many accomplishments.
I've been an archaeologist. Never mind that. I can translate it. If we're going to be partners.
I'll think it over. So, I had in my hands and the key to the lost treasure of the sun, a fabulous cache of small, solid gold statues from the palaces of the great Incas. Oh, it was a little breathtaking, and I was still in the clouds when I went back to Najaro's that night. It was very pleasant. He gave me the translations, took the second batch of words. I paid him with a traveler's check because he wanted American dollars. Then he entertained me a while, showing me some of his Inca relics. Well, an hour passed before I could break away and get back to the hotel. I went to the desk to get the manuscript so I could start working on the translation. But when I asked for it...
Why, Senor Corbett, did you not get your package?
What do you mean?
We gave it to your messenger, the young lady, not an hour ago.
My messenger?
See? Just as you instructed in this note. That is your signature, is it not?
Yes. Yes, it is. Now, at last, I had it figured. A girl. Anna Luce, of course. She'd seen me put the manuscript in the safe. But the signature... It was my signature. Or rather, a reasonable facsimile, a clever tracing. Who could have done it? What had I signed recently? And then I remembered. The traveler's check at Najaro's. He'd asked for it, American dollars. And suddenly I knew the truth. Anna Luce in Najaro. He was her patron. It was for him all the time that she'd been trying to get it. And they'd beaten me. Only not quite. I still had up in my hotel room between the pages of Prescott's book the third print of the manuscript. And they didn't know about that. I hurried up and got it, and then I went to Jefferson's room. Yeah? Who is... Oh! That makes us even, Jefferson. Now we're partners. So get up and get to work on this print. Come on.
I'll fix you later, chum. Right now, what changed your mind?
Najarro got the original. We'll have to work fast. The treasure will be at Cusco, won't it?
Sure. The old Inca capital. Or near there.
Then while you're working, I'll get the tickets to Cusco. We'll leave on the first train. We rode all night on the mountain train to Cusco, and Jefferson sat there in the swaying coach translating. By morning, we had it. The directions to $1 million in gold, maybe more. In Cusco, we obtained burros and supplies and an Indian guide named Tasho. And by sundown, we were in the shadows of the tremendous, brooding ruins of the Inca palace. Even in ruins, it was something you'd never forget. And I got the eerie feeling that the dead Incas were watching us with hate in their eyes. Then Tasho started pacing out the directions from the manuscript, striking down the hill, out across the valley. We followed with equipment. We were looking for a certain stone. At first, we couldn't find it.
An egg-shaped boulder by the side of the stream, it said. There's no stream here.
Yeah. Wait a minute. That was centuries ago. Maybe since then it was made into one of these irrigation ditches. Let's look at that one over there.
Maybe you're right. Come on.
We finally found the boulder half buried in the hillside. Then it took us most of the night to dig around it, loosen it, and finally topple it over. It was just dawn when we got down to the last perfectly fitted stone.
Hurry up. The minute it gets light, this place will be swarming with Indians coming out to work the fields.
Okay, this is the last. Have Tasho lend a hand, will you?
Right. Come on, Tasho.
Easy now.
There.
Good Lord.
Look at that. Just feast your eyes on that.
Solid gold. And look at the beautiful carving. These are magnificent, priceless pieces.
Not priceless, chum. They'll bring a very pretty price when they're melted down to bullion.
Oh, no, you couldn't destroy works of art like this.
No? Come on, let's load them up.
We had to hurry loading the small but heavy gold statues on Tasho's burros because it was fast getting light. Once some Indians passed not 50 yards from us, but they didn't see us. We were at last finished, and suddenly Jefferson turned to me.
Okay, chum. So long.
Huh? What's the idea of the gun, Jefferson?
Just for you, chum. You've got a stronger heart than Berean. I'll have to shoot you.
So you did kill Berean?
Just scared him to death. Stuck the gun in his face. Ready now? Say goodbye, chum.
It seemed like I was in a dream. I lay dreaming for an endless time. Faces came and went. I thought I saw Anna Luz, and she gave me a drink of water. And then later, much later, I woke up and saw her again.
Senor Colby, can you hear me?
Then I knew it was no longer a dream. She was real. And behind her stood Najarro.
Senor Colby.
Hello, Anna Luz. How'd you get here? Wherever it is.
You are in Senor Najarro's suite at the hotel. We brought you here yesterday after the Indians found you.
Thanks. How am I?
You are going to be all right. Jefferson shot you, but only in the shoulder. Some Indians were nearby, and he had to run for it. So he just threw you in the pit and left you to bleed to death.
And you saved my life.
Well, it was not I, but the Indians who found you.
Thanks anyway. And, Jefferson got away with the gold?
See? Senor Colby, can you tell us anything to help us recover it? The government offers you a big reward if you can.
The government? You told them?
See. I always intended to give it to them anyway. It is only that, like Berean, I am an archaeologist. I had hoped that it might be my name that was remembered as the discoverer of the treasure of the sun. But now, can you help us, senor?
Yes, I think I can. But for a price.
I have told you there will be a reward.
No, more than that. I want you to give Ana Luz her freedom.
But, senor, she is free. She is no longer my servant. She is like my daughter.
Huh? Evidently, she still feels an oppressive debt to you. Isn't that right, Ana Luz?
Si, it is.
But,
you see, senor? Will you release her?
But, of course, senor, she owes me nothing.
Senor, until the treasure is recovered and Senor Najaro's name is placed on it as the discoverer, I can never feel free, even so.
All right, then we'll get the treasure. Help me out of this bed.
Oh, senor, you
Do you
cannot...
think I can stay here knowing how much this means to you, Ana Luz? Come, we must hurry.
See, but where?
Coming up on the train, Jefferson talked about taking the treasure out of Peru by way of Puno and Lake Titicaca, across the lake to Bolivia.
Ah, I see, of course. Then we must charter a plane and fly to Puno at once.
We flew up to the lake 12,000 feet high in the Andes with the government commandant. He had a company of soldiers stationed there. Jeff would be able to get in, but our job was to be sure he didn't get out. Soon after we arrived, his soldiers brought in the word. They had found the body of Tasho, shot in the outskirts of town.
Then he is here already.
And he's unloading excess baggage in his own familiar way.
We shall search every house. We shall scour this entire shore of the lake. We'll find him. He will hang for murder.
Commandant, there's no way he can get around the lake by land, is there?
Senor, these are some of the highest mountains in the world. It is impossible. And there is only one ship to the Bolivian shore. It leaves in the morning. We shall search every inch of it. We shall not get away now.
But by morning we weren't so sure. Every house had been searched, the shore had been scoured, and the ship gone over inch by inch. Jeff was nowhere to be found. The Bolivian steamer was whistling impatiently for clearance to set sail. They cared nothing for the search, since there is no love lost between the two countries. Finally, the commandant let them go. He could do nothing else. And as we all stood and watched, it pulled away.
I did what I could. I could not hold them any longer.
I am afraid that we have missed him.
I know it. I feel it. He has escaped.
Ana Luz, don't cry.
Oh.
Perhaps still there's a chance.
No, he is gone. I will never feel free now.
Wait a minute. What's that? Look, out in the channel. A little native raft. It's making for the steamer, trying to head it off in the channel. That's him. Come on. The commandant and I jumped into the police launch at the pier. It looked like a close race.
If they stop...
They're slowing down for him. What if he gets aboard? Will they let us have him?
No. The Bolivians would only laugh at us.
Then we've got to make it. We've got to. The commandant got everything he could out of the launch. But Jeff had almost reached the ship when we got there. We swung around the steamer and... Halt! Stop! Swing in between him and the boat.
There. Stay where you are, Senor Jefferson. You are under arrest.
And when Jefferson saw me, hate filled his eyes. The hate that's part of the gold fever. And he raised his gun and pointed it at me. It was lucky for me that the commandant was quick on the draw. Might have been me instead of Jefferson who toppled over into the water.
Oh, Senor Colby, how can I ever repay you?
Ana Luz, you don't owe me or anybody anything now. This is no way to start... to start your new life.
Thank you, Senor Colby. You have made me very happy. I hope that we shall meet again.
But, you mean you're leaving? Why?
Well, I must get back to Callao and tell Carlos.
Carlos?
Si, the man I love. The man I may now marry. Adios, senor.
Senor Colby, you are a hero. You shall have a big reward. And the people of Peru will honor you.
Perhaps. But they'll fall in love with guys by the name of Carlos.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Tonight we have presented Plunder of the Sun by David Dodge, adapted for radio by John Dunkel. Featured in the cast were Paul Frees as Colby, Gerald Moore as Jefferson, and Lucille Meredith as Anna Luce. Also heard were Harry Bartell, Charlie Long, and Tony Barrett. Special music was arranged and conducted by Del Castillo. Next week.
You are imprisoned in a lonely lighthouse off the steaming jungle coast of French Guiana. Your comrades, a maniac and a coward. Your captors, an army of gigantic, hunger-maddened rats.
Next week, we escape to a nightmare world of terror and violence, as George Toulouse describes it in his hair-raising tale, Three Skeleton Key. Goodbye, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Stay tuned now for Life with Luigi, which follows over most of these CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are in their star-drive ship when a patrol ship piloted by a spy, Matthew Smead, suddenly approaches.
Keep watching Speed in the periscope, Hap. I'll blast away to another part of space. Yes, sir. Hey, Commander, what's wrong? Our rocket's cut out. The emergency units are dead. We're in free fall.
You're completely helpless, Corey.
The Space Patrol. It's Smead.
There is no escape, Commander. You're prisoners of Tiranna.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Prisoners of Tiranna.
Captain Dufeld, think this is a pretty good spot to watch the boat races?
No, Hap, that seawall's kind of high.
Well, just peer through your periscope like I'm going to do. You'll see everything clear as day.
Hey, that's right. The Space Patrol periscope is a big 24 inches high. Papered special for wide-angle vision.
And the Space Patrol periscope's got two magic mirrors that let you see around corners, over fences, and around trees, and over bushes. But nobody can see you.
Yes, sir, gang. You see without being seen. And say, you'll like the neat periscope colors, too. Blue, yellow, and red. And on every periscope, there's a special place for your name, address, even your solar system.
Real keen for space spying. Or for spying on your Earth pals. Remember, Space Patrol periscope works for you, like magic. You can see around corners and trees, over fences and bushes, but nobody can see you.
Now, Space Patrollers, if you don't want to miss out on all the fun you can have with the periscope, you better hurry, because this offer is limited. So right away, today, send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex, box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, Prisoners of Tiranna. Within the past few weeks, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy have captured several spies from Tiranna, a warlike group of planets that's intending to attack the solar system. But in spite of these arrests, Buzz has been unable to learn much about the enemy forces or the time set for the attack. Attempts to capture Tiranna's chief spy, known on the United Planets as Matthew Smead, have thus far failed. Right now, Cadet Happy is just entering Commander Corey's central office on Terra.
Sorry I'm late, Commander. I was in the gym taking the workout, and I just got your message. I'm glad to see you're keeping in shape, huh? Your exercise hasn't made you too tired for a space flyer, right? Oh, I'd never be that tired, sir. Good. A few hours ago, an unidentified ship blasted off from Saturn's fifth planet. They were about to pull ship's spacer warned the pilot to stand by to be boarded. Instead, the ship poured on more power and then vanished. Vanished? Didn't explode, it just disappeared. Seems only one thing. And then the star drive vanished into hyperspace. That means it was a ship from Tiranna. Right. I've been making things very uncomfortable for Matthew Smeed, and I figure he's going back to enemy headquarters to report. Are we going after him? Well, not exactly. We're going to scout around Tiranna with our new space patrol periscope and find out what they're up to. When a spy leaves enemy territory in a rush hat, he's encountered one of two things. Either he's afraid of being caught, or his own forces are ready to attack. Uh-oh. Tiranna may be all set to invade the solar system. That's what we're going to find out. Let's get to the spaceport and blast off in the star drive.
Tiranna is a planetary system 80 light years from the sun in the constellation Pegasus. The vast distance is traversed in an amazingly short time in the star drive ship using a hyperspace principle that crosses the barriers of ordinary space and time. Buzz has set the hyperspace vector computer to bring the ship out of star drive a considerable distance from Tiranna.
I've just completed the astrogation check, sir. That star is Tiranna, all right. We're 300 million DUs away from it.
Good. What we picked up from those captured spies were well outside the orbit of the outermost planet. Check the viewscopes carefully.
Yes, sir.
So far, we're alone in space. Now, you watch out for ships. I'll locate the planets.
That's going to be some job. There's 15 of them.
We'll start with the seventh planet from Tiranna. It's the main one of the system. Our job now is to locate the principal cities and any concentration of spaceships. Hap, set up the periscope while I figure out which of those planets is Tiranna 7. Although the name of General Mognir means nothing to Buzz and Happy, it's a name spoken with dread on the planets of a dozen solar systems throughout the galaxy. As head of the intelligence section of the Tirannian forces, General Mognir has directed the vast network of spies that have laid the groundwork for the defeat and slavery of the inhabitants of scores of planets. At this moment, in his headquarters in the capital city of Tiranna, Mognir sits before a huge chart of our own solar system, glowering at a man who stands before him. His visitor is known to the Space Patrol as Matthew Smeed.
Agent Kasurik reporting, General. You made fast time from the United Planets before. Your message ordered me to return to Tiranna immediately. I'm glad to see that you obey at least one of my commands. Do you know what I told you? No, sir. Our forces are ready to attack, perhaps? Not quite. And if all our agents are like you, we never will be. I have done my best, General. So, we have sent to the United Planets to obtain data on their defenses, to send us samples of their weapons. You have failed life. Some of my top assistants were captured. All of my work was undone. And how did they happen to be captured? I had a run of bad luck, General. Bad luck, indeed. Bad luck is a sniveling phrase used to excuse carelessness, inefficiency. Even worse. What do you mean? Perhaps you are tired of being historic agent of Tiranna. You wish to spend the rest of your life as Matthew Smeed in the United Planets. I am loyal to Tiranna, I swear it. Your achievements today certainly don't speak well for your loyalty, mistress. You have permitted the enemy to know of our coming attack. Thus, you have robbed our own forces of the important weapons supplies. But, General... The United Planets forces will be ready to fight. Vast resources that otherwise we could have taken back. General, listen, I haven't time to discuss them with you. Giving you a new assignment. There's an opening on one of our captured planets for this job. I'm eager to serve Tiranna any way you see fit, General. What planet is it? Euclidia. But that's the plague spot of the galaxy. Yes. The climate is foul, the insects are large and poisonous, and the inhabitants greatly resent the Tirannian rule. General Mognir, before I accept this new assignment... Your acceptance is already in effect. Tomorrow morning, when the spaceship leaves for the tower, you will be honest. Now, please understand, as I say, I'm willing to take... I have a call here. Sorry, General. Mognir here. Yes, what's it like? Yes. And its origin? No, don't attack. Just keep it under observation until further orders. interesting. Very interesting. Something wrong? Nothing wrong. Except that an unidentified spaceship is cruising outside the orbit of Planet 15. Obviously a star drive ship. Because it got through our outer perimeter warning system. Why was it wrong? It's a spaceship from the United Planets. That's impossible.
They have only one star drive ship in operation.
One is enough. You got here in one shifting too.
There is only one of them. It can be dangerous. Our patrols can blast it to pieces.
I expect a brilliant idea like that from you, Corbett. Here we have a splendid piece of enemy technology right on our back doorstep. Something you haven't been able to provide us, and you want to blast it to pieces. I should have sent you to Chicala long ago.
General, if I capture that ship, will you reconsider the Chicala assignment?
Don't be ridiculous.
Please, General, I admit I failed to an extent. But I do know more about the United Planets than anyone in Tiranna. I know their weapons and the way their pilots think. Give me a chance to get that ship.
All right. But if you fail, you'll be on your way to Chicala tomorrow morning.
Elsewhere, with their star drive ship at low velocity, Buzz and Happy are scanning the surface of Tiranna 7 millions of DUs away through their Space Patrol periscope. Using an optical principle that operates through hyperspace, the periscope can focus on any point, even penetrate buildings. During the past few moments, thousands of square miles of the planet have been projected on the image mirror of the periscope.
It's the biggest city we've seen in Tiranna so far, Commander. Now it's got to focus on the street. Nothing strange about the people, except the clothes.
See if you can find a spaceport or a manufacturing center.
Yes, sir. If we only had a map of Tiranna, we could set the periscope for exact coordinates. As it is, we're just working hit or miss.
Once we find one good target, it'll help us locate others.
Yeah, we can look at inside offices in the map room.
Find the military headquarters, might be able to locate their plans for attack.
Commander, I think I've got something. Take a look at the periscope.
Never mind that. Check number 3 viewscope screen.
A spaceship. I wonder if they've seen it.
Check the vector hat.
Yes, sir. Now, one good thing, it's still a long way off. Now we can probably get away.
Not yet.
First, we use our periscope.
Set up the coordinates in the focusing control and see what that ship looks like up close.
Oh, maybe we can tell what kind of element it's got.
Better yet, we can see inside the control compartment. The image of our ship is in our viewscope, so know it's time to get moving.
It's changing vector slightly, sir.
We've got it in the periscope now.
Is it a star drive job, sir?
It's smaller than the Tiranna ships. One of each been starting on the solar system. I'd say it's just slightly larger than our ship.
If it isn't star drive, we stand a good chance of getting away.
The periscope's in the pilot now. Take a look.
Yes, sir. Smoking rockets, it's Matthew Smead. Big as life and twice as ugly.
How they expected to run into him?
I don't like that look on his face. But then, come to think of it, I never did.
He's smart. No wonder he's got our ship in his viewscope screen.
What's he up to? Trying to get closer without tipping us off that he sees us?
Maybe relaying our position to other ships. For the time being, we'll continue our scouting mission from another part of space. Brace yourself, Happy, or blast away from here.
Yes, sir. Hey, what happened?
Our rocket's cut out. The emergency units are dead. We're in free fall.
Well, fine time for this to happen. I'll check the instruments, sir.
Matthew Smead calling Commander Corey up with United Planets Star Drive Ship number 1. Smead to Commander Corey.
Pat, get to the periscope and watch Smead.
Yes, sir.
Corey here. Go ahead, Smead.
If you are wondering what happened to your rocket, you're in range of my null ray beam. You're completely helpless.
Not quite. Try coming aboard and find out.
This time we're playing that my way. There is no escape, Corey. You and your ship are prisoners of Tiranna.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Peer through your periscope, Space Patrollers, and you'll see around corners and over fences, around trees and over bushes. But nobody will see you. Yes, that's the way the magic mirrors of the Space Patrol periscope work. You see, but are never, never seen. Take it with you as you watch a football game or parade. You won't miss a thing, and you'll see right over the heads of the crowd. And when you want to play at being a space spy, here's something that'll come in mighty handy. It's a special identification chart printed right on your periscope. It shows you exactly what the people who live on all the major planets might look like. Yes, sirree, Space Patrollers, you sure can have a lot of fun peering through your periscope. And say, you put it together yourself. That's right, all 24 inches of it. Easy directions are right on the envelope it comes in. You can do it quick as a flash, and then you're all set to start peering through your Space Patrol periscope. But hurry and send for yours today. This terrific offer is almost over. Just send a rice checks or wheat checks box top, together with your name and address, and 25 cents in coin to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, Prisoners of Tiranna. Cruising at low velocity, millions of DUs from Tiranna 7, Buzz and Happy are scanning the surface of the planet for military installations with their Space Patrol periscope. Sighting a Tirannian spaceship, they focus the periscope inside the control compartment and discover the pilot is the Tirannian spy, known to them as Matthew Smead. When they attempt to elude the enemy ship, Smead cuts off their rocket power with a null ray. As he closes in on their helpless ship, spacephoning instructions to them, Buzz and Happy watch the spy through their periscope.
Listen carefully, Commander. My ship has been designed so that its airlock will couple with your United Planets ship. When I join airlock with you, come aboard.
Suppose we don't.
You have no choice. I have weapons aboard this ship that can render you incapable of resistance. And your space torpedoes, the null ray makes them useless.
All right, Smead, we'll come aboard. What to do now? As much as we can about that ship, what the layout is and how it operates. When they go aboard, if the chance comes, we'll jump in. We have to operate his ship with no help from Smead. Guess what?
He's maneuvering up to the airlock now, sir.
His controls are very similar to ours. I think I know the placement in the panel.
What about weapons?
That's some sort of a gun in the holster.
The ship's right alongside ours, and our velocities match.
I know how he works the airlock holding field control. The switch he's pressing now is probably his spacer.
Our ships are joined, Corey.
You were right, Commander.
Corey, do you hear me?
Yes, Smead, I hear you.
Then come aboard. And I'm warning you, at the first sign of a weapon, I'll be ready for you. So don't get any ideas.
All right, Smead. Let's go. Open the inner hatch.
How about it, sir? Shall we take a chance on getting in with our ray guns?
Well, not now. Play along with them till we see a chance it'll pay off. I'll go first.
Raise your hands. Both of you. That's it. Now, step over there where I can watch you.
Come on.
That's fine. Commander, I'm very grateful for your timely arrival.
What do you mean?
When I turn you over to General Mognier, it will restore me to his good graces.
Yeah? Who's General Mognier?
He's the chief of the Tyrannian intelligence section. He'll be delighted to hear that I not only captured your ship, but the commander-in-chief of the Space Patrol as well. Don't move, Corey. Just to be on the safe side, I'd better quiet you down with this M-ray gun. Oh, don't be alarmed. It's similar to your paralyzer ray. You'll be conscious, but unable to make any rash move.
Let's get him, Hap.
Oh, quite effective, isn't it? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll spacephone General Mognier for instructions.
Although unable to move, Buzz and Happy intently watch Smead and listen as the spy carries on a spacephone conversation with General Mognier in the Tyrannian language. Cutting off the transmitter, Smead adjusts the spaceship controls, completely ignoring his helpless captors. Finally, as the planet looms large in the nose port, Smead turns to Buzz and Happy.
That planet, gentlemen, is Tiranna 7, capital of the Tyrannian system.
What of it?
Well, I thought you might like to know. It might be your home for some time, depending, of course, on how the General plans to dispose of you.
What are you going to do when we reach the planet? Parade us through the streets?
No. It would not do to let the general public know that an enemy ship has penetrated our defense screen. It might cause uneasiness. Your own ship will be left temporarily at an unused base on Tiranna 7. As soon as I detach your ship from mine, you will be taken to the spaceport of our capital city. There you will be interviewed privately by General Mognier.
I can hardly wait.
I must warn you, Cadet. The General has no patience with impudence.
Oh.
There's one matter that will have to be attended to before we reach Tiranna 7. Your uniform.
What about them?
Well, they would attract attention, give rise to rumors and speculation. When we step out of the ship, you will be dressed as Tiranian civilians. And remember, treat General Mognier as he deserves.
I sure will, if I get the chance.
Hours later, Smead sets down his spaceship at the spaceport of Tiranna's capital city. Commander Corey's Star Drive ship has been left at a deserted base some miles away. The effects of the M-ray having worn off, Buzz and Happy are marched in front of Smead across the landing strip to the administration building. Dressed in Tiranian clothes, they attract no attention from the throngs of the crowded spaceport. Right now, they're in an office where a thick-set man in full military regalia stares at them with cold, penetrating eyes. At last, the general speaks.
Provaga Blase, General.
Much glad to Corey. I'll call out to that hot sun.
Later. Now we will continue this discussion in the United Planets language of the people. I'm General Mognier, the Chief of the Intelligence Section of the Imperial Tiranian Space Army. It's the purpose of the Empire of Tiranna to liberate the people of your solar system. I expect you to cooperate.
You said liberate, General. Don't you mean enslave?
It doesn't matter. It has been decided that your planets are to come under Tiranian rule. We want to achieve this with as little violence and destruction as possible. If you work with us, you can save the lives of your people.
Whether I help or not, you're going to have a fight in your hands. And get this straight. I'm not going to tell you a thing. And that goes for me, too.
You heard the General. Speak up!
That's enough of that, Professor. No violence here. Someone might think we are mistreating our own civilians. I am sorry, General. There will be work in a quiet place. Then they will be executed as spies. And with the full support of our population, we will launch an attack on the
General, may I assume that the Jakala assignment is no longer in effect?
That's right. In fact, I'm considering a promotion.
Thank you, General. I could almost say that your renewed faith in me is reward enough. Thank you.
Stop phoning, Kosarak. You know I can't
get the General hat. Yes, sir. You got it. Use it. I'll take it. My arm. I got the General, Commander.
Needs out, too. I hope nobody heard the racket.
What do we do now? We're on a strange planet.
Well, with these Tiranian clothes, maybe we can get to the ship without attracting attention.
What about these two? They'll be coming out of it pretty quick.
Spy closet over there. We'll drag them in and shut the door and use Smead's M-ray gun on them as an extra precaution. Come on, Hap, let's work fast.
Locking the Tiranian general and his spy in the closet, Buzz and Happy walk out of the office with affected casualness. Silently, they retrace their steps through the administration building and out into the spaceport. Right now, they're within a few yards of Smead's ship.
Okay, so far, Commander.
Luckily, nobody had occasion to talk to us.
Well, my knowledge of Tiranian is pretty limited.
All right, come to the ship.
Nobody seems to care. At least I don't see anybody coming out to investigate.
Close the hatch. Now, I can remember how Smead operated these controls.
Hey, Commander, what if they have a space control here? If we have to get space-appeal instructions to blast off,
we're certainly won't wait around to find out. Check the viewscope to see if there are any other ships landing or blasting off.
Yes, sir.
Now, the controls. First Smead pressed this lever.
We're all clear in every direction, Commander.
Get set, Hap. Fire rockets.
Made it. Nice going, Commander.
We've got to find that deserted base in our own ship before we're safe.
I just hope no one goes looking for General Mognier until we're completely off Tiranna.
Flying high above the surface of Tiranna 7, Buzz and Happy scan the terrain, searching for the abandoned base. With only his memory and sense of direction to guide him, Buzz watches the ground below for familiar landmarks, mountains, rivers, and stretches of plain that he has seen only once before. Meantime, Happy checks the viewscopes for a sign of pursuit. At last, Buzz puts the ship into a rapid descent toward a barren stretch of ground where a single spaceship waits.
You did it, Commander. Wow, I wouldn't have found that ship in a month. The next few minutes tell the story, Hap. Judging from our own experience with that M-ray, Smead and the General should be able to move pretty soon. Yeah, they'll have every ship on the planet looking for us. Well, I set down as close to our ship as I can, Hap. And I'll warn you, this landing may be rough. Wow. Commander, you handled this crate like you'd just finished a 50-hour refresher course. Well, not aboard the old Star Drive. Hap, the viewscope. It's a ship. It looks like it's heading right for us. It's on a landing vector, all right. But I've seen there are no cities within 300 miles of this place. He's coming for us. We'd better make a run for the Star Drive, sir. We wouldn't have a chance. That's right. He could stop us with a null ray before we got off the ground. Oh, that's it. We'll fight him off with our own weapons. I remember how Smead worked it. He turned this gadget here, I think. Yes, that's it. There's the violet light. The intensity gauge. Now, if I can focus it right. Check that ship's vector, Hap. It's decelerating, sir. Dropping lower. Now it's steady. I think he's in the beam, Hap. His power's off. Can't do anything now but continue in free fall. At his present vector, he'll go clear over us. If he misses that range of mountains, he'll be lucky. Come on, Hap, into our ship and blast off.
Blasting off without further opposition, Buzz and Happy accelerate under rocket power, watching Tiranna 7 grow smaller in their rear view scope.
Have you worked out the hyperspace vector yet, Commander? Not quite, Hap. I won't feel safe until we're in Star Drive and away from the whole Tiranna system.
Got to reach higher velocity, Happy. The mass factor of that star and the 15 planets is pretty high for a safe transition into Star Drive.
Commander, another ship's after us.
Use a periscope, Hap. If we can find out what their plan of attack is, we can stall them off.
Yes, sir. I'll line it up on them.
They use an all-ray on us before we get into Star Drive. We're sunk.
I've got the ship, Commander. How to adjust the focus inside the control compartment. Commander, it's General Mogner and Sneed.
What are they doing?
Just watching the viewscope. It sure looks sore, especially the General. Uh-oh. The General's reaching for the null ray control.
He must be within range. Hap, stand by to fire space torpedoes.
Standing by, sir.
When you're on target, fire. We probably won't stop them, but it may delay them a few seconds. I'll check the periscope. They've changed vector, Hap. Mogner left the null ray and is working at another part of the control panel.
Trying to dodge our torpedo, huh? Uh-oh. The torpedo exploded, but it missed him.
Blew it up with a force field, probably.
What about our velocity, sir? Is it high enough?
Very nearly. There's the General reaching for the null ray control again.
Let's lob another torpedo.
Too late, Hap. By the time it reaches them, the null ray will be on.
We're going into Star Drive. Just made it. We're safe in hyperspace.
For the moment. But we won't be completely safe until we put an end to the menace from Tiranna. There's a way to stop them, Happy, and we're going to find it. We've got to. An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
Smoking rockets, a moon man from Saturn, a bird man from Mercury, and a giant from Jupiter. Wow. I'd sure hate to meet up with any of these weird characters on a dark night out in space. That is, without my Space Patrol periscope. Hey, Space Patrollers, I was just looking over this special identification chart that's printed on the periscope. It shows you exactly what all the outer space citizens might look like, and believe me, they're plenty scary looking. But when you peer at them through your mirror eye of your periscope, you'll see them, but they will never, never see you. It's like magic. You can see around corners and over fences, around trees and over bushes, but nobody can see you. And, gang, you'll have a real George time with your periscope right here on Earth, looking over the heads of tall people. The periscope's high enough, a big 24 inches. You can find secret hiding places, spy on your pals, jump in Jupiter. It's terrific. But you better move fast, because this super sensational offer ends soon. Hey, here's Captain Tufel. He's going to tell you how to get a Space Patrol periscope.
Send the rice checks or wheat checks, box top, together with your name and address and 25 cents in coin to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri.
That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents and your rice checks or wheat checks box top.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Bite-sized checks taste good to me. Bite-sized checks, wheat checks, rice checks. Get your checkerboard cereal today.
And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are in their spacesuits aboard a wrecked spaceship, stranded on a meteor. Through the nose port, they watch an enemy spaceship land.
Speed ship, all right, Commander.
Have your ray gun ready, Hap. We'll give them a fight.
Yes, sir. They're shining some sort of light on us. Wow, what a glare.
Don't look at it. Some kind of a special ray. Drop to the deck.
I can still see the light even with my eyes shut. It's burning into my brain.
Light it, Hap. Keep low.
Commander, everything's turning black.
If we can work our way aft and get some shielding between us and the ray.
No use, Commander. I can't move.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, Invasion from Tiranna, when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Ken Mayer and Baylor Kovach. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks present exciting action on Space Patrol. This program is broadcast for Armed Forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood.
This is ABC Radio Network.